Okay, so give me a second here. Got to do the social networking, everybody, because we're live. Okay, we can't hear you, Romney. We can see your camera. I promise we're not trying to be problematic. And we're live, so we'll work that out as we go. Welcome, everybody, to yet another wonderful episode of Wow, I almost said Gaming with the Geeks. Yeah, that's what this is. That's what this is. Welcome, everybody, to Geek News, Reviews, and Opinions for August 8th, 2015. I am, of course, your host, Adam the Drac Mickelson. I don't know why I added the there, but I did, and now I'm running with it because why not? So I hope everybody has had a good week transitioning. I actually am kind of confused. I almost thought it was a holiday this weekend because certain things were not available, and I don't know why, and my Comcast sucked, and yeah. That's been my week. That and WoW.
Okay.
Literally, WoW has been... no, we still can't hear you, Romney.
No, I think you can. Speak, Romney.
There we go.
Okay.
Yay! Okay, so that's been my week. I hope everybody has had a better week than I. But first of all, I am not alone on this panel if you've been here before. If not, welcome! You must be new here. So I am being joined by my usual panel of fellow YouTubers and fellow geeks, starting off with the Shadow Blazer. And apparently this Firefox is my waifu.
She is.
Dang it! Alex, how are you? Before I start making body pillow jokes.
I do not own a body pillow, just so you know.
I can confirm this.
I cannot confirm nor deny, I guess, but
Alex's PR team will get back to us. So everything going okay this week, Alex?
Yes, got a couple videos up finally.
Yay! Which we can advertise. Yay! And also we are being joined by Stephen Romney of Studio Ghost, a.k.a. Studio Phantasma, of the American Dog Association, apparently, and also of the American Computer Crashing Association. Romney, you're going to have to explain that one. Wow, much crash.
Well, I recently upgraded to a new computer. It runs on Windows 8, and it's been prone to crashing. It's been getting kind of annoying. At first I thought, oh, I updated the graphics drivers. But literally, before we went on the air, we were talking, and then I got the blue screen of death.
So, basically, you are on a computer with Windows 8.
Yes.
Therein lies your first problem.
Yeah. Well, it was beyond my control because, well, I got it at an Office Depot. So far, it's been pretty good. It was able to render out my latest set of reviews with 5 minutes per video. So, I mean, it's a trade-off. It's just I'm afraid to even touch it or touch anything right now, lest it crashes again.
Dude, that's actually been me for like a good portion because I've been like. First weekend I had Windows 10, because if people didn't know that, yeah, I transitioned over to Windows 10 to start trying it out. Mainly because then I would actually get a operating system that would utilize my full PC specs, and it was the first week literally after that I started having issues. And so I completely empathize with you, Romney. But of course we are also being joined live by the Aldo himself, the badass of elephants and raccoons. The badass of elephants and the lord of the raccoons. Aldo, how are we doing this fine week?
I am doing good. Actually, I don't know. Oh, we're live. Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay.
I'm just doing it live.
I literally just got here from Salt Lake Gaming Convention.
Yes.
Where I was there helping to man the booth for Utah Geek magazine, to which I am a writer of.
Nice.
But,
do think for me to advertise with Aldo because, heaven forbid that list isn't huge enough.
Yeah, heaven forbid.
My answer, heaven forbid my answer is never!
Heaven forbid I actually do something for my own website at some point.
Yeah, you remember that little thing called boardoffline.net?
No,
That hasn't been updated in a while?
no, because you can find me at Utah Geek Magazine. You can find me at Reviews versus the World. You can find me at Anime Over WS, Geek News, Reviews, and Opinions.
Dude, have you seen my show list at this point on my channel? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, have you seen my show list? For crying out loud, I keep on coming up with ideas. Alex is just going to look me in the eye one of these days and just out, drag. Stop. Just stop. If one of those shows doesn't work, you can sub this in.
No, but otherwise doing good. I was there as press actually, so
Very nice.
I was there as press. I bought this there it's a fun little card game, 2-player card game. It's one thing.
I do know that one, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one. And actually, before that, this morning, actually, I was working on a review that coincidentally, and this was not planned at all, but Alex is also doing a Let's Play of it, so I thought that was hilarious.
Wait, what? Alex
I was
doing a Let's Play? And I don't know about it?
Adam, I said I had new videos up today.
yeah.
I thought you meant anime reviews.
I have an anime review, and I have a Let's Play. I tweeted this out.
What?
It's for a game called Long Live the Queen, and I bought this game probably. I want to say
what I
about.
think it is?
I
Oh.
don't know. What do you think it is?
What? Yeah. Not
Dating sim?
No.
No.
Kind of.
Alright.
No. No, but
it's. Go ahead.
it's like a day-to-day time management game where you have to train and keep your princess alive long enough to become the queen.
No, it is the one I think it is, because I saw Jesse Cox play this.
Yeah. So I bought the game about 3 months ago, and I fell in love with it, but I couldn't do much because I was in that weird OT phase at work, so I had no time for anything. So I did my review for Tembo, and my choice was like, well, I'm gonna review this game, and I sat down, started doing my review, went in to check my feed on YouTube, because the completionist had tweeted that the video was out, and I was like, oh, cool. Lo and behold, Alex's Let's Play is on my feed. I was like, oh, the timing on this couldn't be more perfect.
I'm curious now. I'm very curious, and now I wish I could end the podcast and go watch it, but no.
Yeah. Well,
Sadly.
it just means that Adam and I are gonna have to download copies and then do our own respective Let's Plays.
I think this means you all need to add me on Steam.
I added you on Steam.
I know you. No, you haven't added me on Steam.
I will double check that because I believe I actually sent something to you. But anyway, so we've lost a little bit of track. We have some stories to talk about, and I'm just going to get this done out of the way first because people will probably ask why this is not part of the episode, and the main reason is because not a whole lot of major stuff was announced. So Gamescom happened in, I can't remember the city, but in Germany, and we did get a couple of good announcements in that. I mean, we got the Battletoads being confirmed as the first character in Killer Instinct Season 3, which was a nice little nod back to Rare. Me and Aldo were more interested in this, but Scalebound got moved from E3 to Gamescom. And I don't know if you saw that, Aldo, but basically they showed like 8 minutes of gameplay.
Yeah, looked awesome.
It looked good. It looked good, so I was excited about that. And then also, I'm just going to get this out of the way because, again, we have another dilemma where Blizzard people want me to talk about Blizzard because a certain expansion got announced at Gamescom. So, here's going to be my quick response to people. I have a video coming. It has all my reactions. I caved. I finally am opening up a brand new show on my channel where I can get into this stuff and it will be up tonight. So if you want to know what my thoughts were on World of Warcraft Legion, it'll be up tonight. We cool? We cool. We cool. We cool. All right. So there you go. That's the Gamescom stuff. Unless you guys had any other highlights, I actually will say, like, aside from the Legion announcement, although I liked the scale-bound 8 minutes of gameplay, that was really good.
It looks fantastic, honestly.
I am so glad that, because now I can have Devil May Cry on PlayStation, and I can have Bayonetta on Wii U, because that's going to happen. Because Nintendo would be absolutely insane if they didn't do it. And then I can have Scalebound on Xbox One. I can have a Hideki Kamiya game on every console. Shout out to Platinum! Alright, anyway. Let's go ahead and get into the stories before I actually have, because I'm going to have some aneurysms tonight, I'm not going to lie. So we're going to be actually starting off on kind of a sad note. I actually didn't know this existed until probably 5 days before the Kickstarter ended. And unfortunately did not end well. So there was a game called Red Ash that was put up on Kickstarter, and it is basically it was advertised as the spiritual successor to Mega Man Legends. So, people have been screaming for Mega Man Legends 3. They've been screaming at Capcom for canceling Mega Man Legends 3. And so, Keiji Inafume's actual response was, here it is. We're doing Red Ash. It's a successor, and you guys can come fund it. And it was for an $800,000 goal, and it came about $300,000 short. Because now the Kickstarter's done. So it literally fell short by about $280,000. And unfortunately we lost all that, but we're hopefully going to get them back. So at that point, we've been talking a lot about the possible negatives of Kickstarter and the positives of Kickstarter. So now we've actually had a negative happen. And I thought it'd be a good idea to bring it up. I will be honest, I am not a Mega Man Legends fan. I haven't even played the games, so I can't say that I'm a fan of it at all. When I saw this, it looked interesting to me because I was like, okay, well, then that means, KG gets to send in another FU to Capcom, but I didn't really have any other thoughts aside from that. Romney, have you played the Mega Man Legends games at all?
I haven't. And really, I was kind of a latecomer to the Mega Man series. I didn't really discover it until I was in about, 6th, 7th grade or so. But what I saw with the announcement of Red Ash is that I kind of felt that they were kind of playing their cards a little too early. The reason being is that, well, you should probably have Mighty Number 9 come out first before you immediately start trying to get another game funded.
Wait. You should have a game come out and not get delayed again?
Yeah.
What a novel idea!
Yeah, and that was like the immediate thing I rolled my eyes at, because I actually follow the Get Me Off the Moon Facebook page, and they'll say, oh yeah, Inafune's announced another game. I'm just like, and you haven't released Mighty Number 9, and you're already bankrolling another game because...
Well,
I think that was the main mistake Inafune made with this, is that the game that we've already put money into hasn't come out yet. So you haven't really filled us with that much faith, and I think that's why the Kickstarter probably fails. Everybody's just like, oh, another game! How long before we never see it?
Exactly. And the other problem is that, what's the company that did Mighty Number 9 again? What's the name of it?
Concept.
Concept. Okay. So this Red Ash game was not managed by them. It was managed by, I believe the company is called Fuse? Yes, a Chinese gaming company called Fuse. And I can already tell you one major problem this Kickstarter had. Really poor management of the Kickstarter, to be honest. Mm-hmm. So I've looked here and there about their goals. I've looked about what this is going to be. I want to say it hasn't been updated that much, and the goals are kind of stupid. So let me actually read some of these goals to you that were financial goals after the $800,000. So first of all, they had the announcement, and then one of the announcements was basically, or a stretch goal was, a port to a mystery console. What are you going to play Russian roulette?
It's like, a port to the Apple computer, a port to the Apple
Might as
II.
well. Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense. A mystery console? D?
No, it's
How
like,
can we be excited about a mystery console when we don't know what? I know the double meaning I'm putting in this sentence, but how can we be excited about a PS4 release when we don't know it's a PS4? You know,
yeah,
it's just, and on top of that, they also even had fans cancel pledges because of the sloppy professionalism this entire Kickstarter got, which is really sad because, I mean, I've said this time and again. I hate the fact that there's a guy on Kickstarter who put a $10 Kickstarter for a potato salad, and he managed his better than this, and got like I believe it was in the millions or something like that. It was a stupid number, and he managed it. He should be hired by Fuse to manage Red Ash. So, in one case, I feel bad for the people that were waiting for this, and that now it's not happening. But this is the downside of Kickstarter, is that not everything is going to get funded, or they're going to have really poor management of the Kickstarter, as well as trying to keep the community involved, as we've seen with some of the other games. It's just not going to be a good thing. Aldo just barely came back. Aldo, have you played the Mega Man Legends games out of curiosity?
I've played one of them, and I've started playing the Tron Bonne game.
Okay, so were you at all excited about this reimagining of Mega Man Legends?
Yes and no. Yes, as a fan. No, on the principle that Keiji Inafune is not on my good side. Because
Why is he not on your good side?
Because the man has raised ridiculous amounts of money for Mighty Number 9, did a second Kickstarter or, PayPal Kickstarter thing for Mighty Number 9, has not come out with the game, has delayed the game, and is asking for more money for another game when we haven't even seen the end result of 2 fundraising efforts.
Well, and one of the things that actually frustrates you about that, I don't know if you heard one of the reasons for the 2016 delay on Mighty Number 9, they possibly have a publisher. So there's now no reason for crowdfunding whatsoever.
Yeah, and now the fact that the game is still being published on Red Ash doesn't make me feel bad at all, because they have a publisher with Fuse, who, might I add, has one of the shadiest looking websites I've ever seen for a games company.
I clicked it and immediately went off because I was afraid I was going to get cookie or something.
Yeah, so when I heard that the Kickstarter wasn't happening, and I said, good. Let me see one product first, and then we'll see if the legend still holds.
Yeah, so I've actually got this up, because you've seen the stretch goals for this thing. This is just piss poor management of the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
You had a port to a mystery console. What, are you just gonna spin the arrow? Oh, I guess we're going to the Xbox One!
or it's like Red Ash ported to the Amiga.
Just put the ball on there.
Red Ash.
Red Ash ported to Mr. Game & Watch. Oh, wait.
Red Ash ported to the Ouya.
There you go. It might as well have been.
Yeah, Red Ash ported to the ColecoVision.
Red Ash ported to the Commodore 64, where
I
you
said
can't play it at
Commodore
all.
64. Red Ash.
What?
I ported to the Atari 2600.
There you go. Ported to the Super Gen Atari. You actually need to put it in all of the console ports. So there you go. So yeah, unfortunately, this is kind of the side of Kickstarter that we haven't been able to cover at all, which is sometimes this stuff falls through. And sometimes it falls through because of poor management. Sometimes it falls through because there's just not enough interest in the product. But I can already tell you that if these guys had hired a better person to manage the Kickstarter, they might not be in the exact same state. But I do agree with you, although, that I want Mighty Number 9 first before he starts doing something else. I was actually a little irritated with the Mighty Number 9 delay, especially when he's out there on Microsoft advertising ReCore. And the bottom line is that one of the, I don't know if you guys saw this, but one of the advertising statements on that trailer is from the man that brought you Mighty Number 9.
Yeah. And I was like,
What Mighty Number 9? It hasn't even come out yet.
You haven't brought me nothing, son.
So at that point, that is a little bit of a frustration. Alex, what is your thoughts on, we finally have come across a Kickstarter that failed, and that this is a possibility that can happen to people?
Well, before you say that, Alex, this isn't the first game Kickstarter.
No.
Yeah.
It's just the first one that we covered.
All right, sorry, I just want to interject.
Yeah. I love the fact that even in like the creator profiles where it says famous works include Mighty Number 9. Well, Mighty Number 9 is only infamous right now, not really famous. Yeah, you're right. This is a poorly managed and poorly conceived and poorly thought out Kickstarter. It's as we said, Mighty Number 9 hasn't come out. You got Keiji Inafune and his crew are getting a little too ambitious. They're trying to launch too many projects at once when you haven't proven yourself as an indie developer.
Keiji, I love you, but you need to release a game before I can get excited about another one.
You know, I have every faith in Playtonic Games right now that they're going to do great with Yooka-Laylee, but if Playtonic suddenly decided to launch a second Kickstarter for a Donkey Kong Country successor,
Yeah.
I would raise my eyebrows at that too.
Because it's just like, you already are devoting yourself to this big project, and now you're going to add another big project?
And
How about you have that prestige as a studio before you do that? You know, Way Forward had the prestige before they came out with DuckTales Remastered. They had Double Dragon Neon at that point. They'd already had a couple of other games. I think Shantae had come out at that point.
Oh, yeah.
So they had
Shantae.
that prestige, and then they moved on to other things.
And you know, Way Forward even did their own Kickstarter for Shantae Half Genie Hero. But
Yes.
Shantae's already proven herself now as with what now 4 games under her belts, and so Way Forward has proven themselves. And yeah, mystery console port. It's just like what? I mean, come on. Yooka-Laylee is promised with its money to go to Xbox One, Wii U, Steam. Anything else, I guess they'll put in if they want it. But so
Maybe that console would come off better if it was wrapped up in Jesus. I'm not going back into this. I got such hate last week, so I'm not doing that again ever on this episode.
Yooka-Laylee is giving me a freaking N64 shader. They're doing Kickstarter right.
Yes. Well, it's just one of those things where, okay, I've given crap to the guy, because Aldo was not here for that. I've given crap to the guy who put up a Kickstarter for $10 for potato salad, and he got an absurd number. And he managed his Kickstarter better than Fuse did! He managed it better! Because he actually put stretch goals. Give me another $15, I'll add some salt to it. You know, at that point, I can at least say he did something. I would say, if I was the president of Fuse right now, I'd be like, hire that guy. He is now our Kickstarter president. Because he gets how that works. That's saying something.
on a side note, though, while the Red Ash Kickstarter for the game failed, the Kickstarter for the little anime tie-in was successful.
Yay!
Okay, then at that point they could probably... I don't know, can they bring Red Ash again to Kickstarter? I don't think they can.
It'll have... No. But they have a publisher. There's no need for Red Ash.
Well, they have a publisher for Mighty Number 9.
Well, and they've said the game is coming out regardless of funding. So at that point, if they were to come out with a Kickstarter for Red Ash,
yes,
I would buy a ticket, fly to Japan, and punch Inafune in the face.
KG, I love you, but if you already have the professional backing, don't come to us! It seems like a slap in the face! Because then at that point, it doesn't even matter what the crowd wants, because the publisher's going to get first say on anything, because they're the ones that are literally doling out millions of bucks, and we're doling out hundreds.
Plus millions. I mean, I can't imagine this game is going to be that expensive to make. I know games aren't going to be super cheap. I'm not trying to understate the budget here.
I think the problem here is that KG is trying to create the brand before the game has even come out.
Yeah, and you can't do that. You can't do that. that's kind of a thing, I guess, when with multimedia, multi-level marketing here. But you're trying to launch a new little project in the vein of an old franchise. You're cashing in on nostalgia already.
Yeah, exactly. So, it is unfortunate that Red Ash did not happen, but, Kickstarter is a 50-50 thing. Some things will fund, some things will not. And for various other reasons, and while it is disappointing, this is going to come out, especially if they got a publisher for the dang thing, because it's Keiji Inafune, for crying out loud. On name alone, he is like... Okay, I am pretty certain we have now Hideo Kojima, jobless. We have Keiji Inafune, who is technically an observer as far as anybody is concerned, at least in title on Mighty No. 9. He is the director of ReCore, but he's technically on his own. Koji Igarashi is on his own. They could just walk up to a publisher at this point and say, I'm Koji frickin' Igarashi, let me make a Castlevania game. Who would tell him no? Because he's got the cred for him at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Hironobu Sakaguchi could literally walk into BioWare and say, I want to make an RPG. Is BioWare going to tell him no? No.
Probably because they're owned by EA.
Oh, this is true. This is true. I forgot about that. Da, 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 da. And they'll kick him out with stormtroopers.
Yeah, and I think my microphone crapped out, so I have to switch to my webcam microphone. Fine.
All right. So, let's go ahead and move on from this, because there's tons of rage to get out in this tech hour. I have no problem saying that. So,
yeah,
I made this joke in our notes towards Alex, because ever since that stupid remake got announced, I have not heard the end of it. And even better, Gaijin Goomba had to come out with a video. And I didn't even see the video before somebody actually brought up, what do you think about this? I'm like, I don't know, I haven't watched it. And I watched it and I went, are you freaking serious? So, to bring people up to speed, Gaijin Goomba actually made a video regarding a petition that has been done in the past. Whether or not it's being currently done, we don't know.
What did we say about the Change.org visits?
Believe it or not, this is not... You're not going to believe this, although. I went to Change.org to find it. It is not there. So, personal plot, we did not go to Change.org today, but there is a petition... There is a petition to reduce the breast size of Tifa Lockhart in the FF7 remake, because how dare she have such big boobs? Okay, keep in mind, this is the concept art. And Gaijin actually brings up a couple of really good points. Sometimes girls are just blessed that way. And they get criticized for it, and that's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Because how are you supposed to debate that when nature gave you it? There are dozens of women out there that are literally going to a surgeon to get that, and yet they criticize the ones that have it naturally. And then they criticize Tifa by basically on the premise of Tifa is officially a bimbo by their definition because of this.
Because feminism!
Alright.
Let's completely ignore the fact that we have a female ninja and the lead catalyst for everything that happens as two non-busty women. Just ugh.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is part of the same BS when you see people do more realistic body type designs for known game characters, where it's basically just saying, oh yeah, we're just going to make them fat and slim down, which just, God, they never take context into consideration. Because I literally got into a debate with somebody on Movie Pilot about this crap. Because there was this website that did the same sort of thing where they were redesigning characters, and they redesigned the character of Christy from Tekken, who is a capoeirista. And I don't know, poor Dai notwithstanding, a capoeirista who's been studying for years is not going to have a muffin top. That's just how active it is. And it's the same case with Tifa, God. I mean, and this is coming from someone who hasn't played Final Fantasy VII, and isn't actually that big of a fan, and even I think this is kind of ridiculous.
Yes.
This
It
is
is entirely ridiculous.
I don't
this
know.
is thin shaming.
What was the term you just used?
I said thin shaming.
That might have just made our episode title. That irritates me. That
Or I
term
guess-
irritates me. Thin shaming?
Or you could call it bust shaming, either or, but it's either way, it's shaming.
Yeah. Again,
Where's my pillow?
there's actually a really good article on Tumblr that talks about this stupid stuff that's been happening with I hate to call it modern feminism since it's more radical feminism, and that's the idea that apparently characters can't be sexy anymore. And I mean, the account is named The Spectacular Spider Girl. She's a female gamer. She's actually talked about how ridiculous some of this stuff is, and it's just kind of a case that the ones that have become the vocal minority aren't actually fighting for equality. They're basically wanting characters to stop looking sexy because they make them feel bad, because they're just that insecure. And they're basically setting the real feminists back.
Okay. I'm just curious. How many people of us actually saw the movie, Advent Children?
I did.
Yeah,
Alice, okay.
I've seen it.
No.
You've seen Tifa in this movie, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, I know this beyond a shadow of a doubt, they did not change her cup size, so to speak, in that. And she still looks as well endowed as ever in the movie, even though she's wearing more clothes. I think the real problem here is that boys and girls have problems because of how scantily clad she was in the first game. And then they fixed that in Advent Children. And
Which,
yet,
I mean,
Tifa got one of the most badass scenes in that entire movie.
Which, to be fair, she wasn't that scantily clad in 7. She had like a t-shirt.
Well, there was some debate because I guess when somebody actually asked Yoshitaka Amano, I think he was the artist for it.
No, that's
Yeah.
Tetsuya Nomura. Tetsuya Nomura was the
It was
designer.
Nomura.
Amano's still on for character design though.
Not anymore. Not since 7, actually. Like, 9 was like the last one. Like, he does promotional artwork, but he no longer designs the characters.
Whomever it is, they actually did say that it isn't supposed to be a t-shirt, but then they reneged it like a year later and said it is a t-shirt. And so there's like some debate as to whether or not, because they literally designed it to be like a sports prop. Okay, so like the current art now is like a tattered t-shirt, but the original art for it, because I have a strategy guide, is more of the makeup of like a sports prop. So
Yeah,
I know a lot of people around me, like the PTA moms that lived around me, had problems because she was in bra, you know, and that was unacceptable because she could have had a shirt on.
I can see why they would switch it to saying that it's a shirt when they probably
Yes.
localized it.
Yes, I mean in Japan that would not be such a big problem. In America it would be.
Yeah.
But again, the funniest part is like she is such a people get pissed off at how non-pivotal a character she is. Hell, I played Final Fantasy VII and make her a pivotal character because F Eris. And by the way, can I just say also there's a little bit of a double standard there too. I've actually seen people call Eris a prude for dressing so conservatively.
Yeah, but this goes into
Women
the
just
key
can't
issue.
win. Women just can't win.
And again, it goes into the key issue that a lot of these radical feminists never take into account. It's called context. I mean, yeah, are there some badly designed characters designed just for sex appeal?
Yes!
Yeah. But that's also a case that, well, characters are dressed a certain way that works with their personality because, well, much like humans, they probably dress themselves a certain way based on what they like. And that's the same case with, well, characters like Tifa. I mean, Tifa, if you look at how she fights, she's a fist fighter. Obviously, she's not going to wear, like, a full dress because that's just going to slow her down in combat. Whereas Erin is a healer. And so she is kind of more conservatively dressed because she's not someone who normally fights regularly. I mean, Tifa runs a freaking bar. She's basically both bartender and bouncer.
Yes, she is. And here's the thing, too. Like, people should have respect for Tifa because, holy crap, like, as far as the game is concerned, she was trained by the mother effing Goku of this world. So she is basically like the Gohan or the apprentice here, and you're exactly right. You know, are we criticizing freaking? I can't even believe I'm bringing her up. Are we criticizing Ronda Rousey for looking the way she does in the ring?
They already did, and she already gave a badass response.
The only response I've seen was the parent she went into a WWE ring with a Vegeta shirt saying it's over 9,000.
No.
What's the other one?
No, her response was saying that she takes it as an insult that people, because she's not an F a millionaire type of woman,
Yeah.
but she still has a sexy body because her body, all her muscles are meant to like kick ass, and there's nothing more beautiful than a body with a purpose. So
Which is
F all those
probably the
people.
only complaint that I would have about Tifa is that her frame. I mean, the remake will fix this because Advent Children did.
Yeah.
She has a more muscular frame in Advent Children. In the original game, she did not. But in the game's defense, everybody was squares.
Yeah, that was a technical limitation type thing.
Yes.
Mhm.
I mean, but in the cutscenes, she did kind of have a bikini bunny body, you know. And I get that whole concept. She was supposed to be like this rough and tough fighter, and she was not. But okay, so we're a little sidetracking here. Thoughts on the petition?
Stupid.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Pointless. Effing pointless. Feminists, this is why I get on your case. And I have gotten on feminists' case because these two worked with me at one point and can state that. I've gotten on people's cases. This is why I can't join that cause. Is because when you actually out a character that has a good story, that actually has one that people can relate to, I would actually dare argue that Eris is not relatable because she's basically a Jesus-esque figure in the games. Tifa's relatable because she's a childhood friend. So, at that point, the fact that you criticize her just drives me nuts, especially since this is what Mama gave her. This isn't, she didn't go modify her body. This is what Mama gave her. I don't know.
I mean,
is there a plastic surgeon on Midgar? I don't know.
Well, they might have a certain material
Right,
for
but-
that, but
And at the same time, though, here's the thing, and I don't want to sidetrack the conversation, Adam, but to kind of counteract the thing you just said, I'm going to quote Anita Sarkeesian. She did not choose to dress that way. The designers did.
She did. No, I'll
Anyways. But yeah, no, I do. I mean, regardless, I do agree because context, because that clothes makes sense.
That's why, in a lot of cases, I appreciate Advent Children just that much more because, like with Yuffie, it was not the same situation, but with Tifa, they actually got tasteful with her, and they covered her up when they didn't have to. In fact, the funniest part of that was that you could technically argue in the game Yuffie was more covered up than Tifa, and in the movie, it's flipped.
Yeah.
Because Yuffie is less covered up. And
I mean,
it's
not
like-
by much.
Well, and on top of that, the other thing, too, that they didn't answer was, in the concept art for Yuffie, she technically has, like, an artificial leg or something like that. Like, part of her leg is wooden. It's a weird... I have to show the picture to people. It's a weird concept here. And not addressed in Advent Children at all. I'm just like, wait, she got her leg back? Wait, what? That was one of the things that made her cool. Well, let's just be honest, she was kind of annoying. But... yeah, I mean, I get why Gaijin brought this up, because it is a good thing to bring up, and I actually love the fact that the person that brought it up to him was a friend who is a busty female, and did get criticized as kid, because that happens, for those reasons. And that is stupid.
You guys remember this one-off scene in The Simpsons where Ned Flanders is like in his living room pouring through the videotapes of anything he might find objectionable, and he's like meticulously noting everything?
Yes.
That's what this really reminds me of when feminists or whoever just like go through anything to find these things and go and freak out and make petitions.
Feminist, you're right when it comes to certain other video game characters. Ivy, you're totally in the right. Alright, I can't argue with you on that one.
yeah. But on that same note, though, what they tend to ignore is that, yeah, Ivy is just one character out of a sizable roster that has a lot of other female characters with various designs, and that's another thing that's annoying, is that they only single out one, but they don't look at the fact that, hey, we actually have characters with diverse body types in this game. They only single out the one that pisses them off. I mean,
Yeah.
you have Ivy, but then you also have characters like Talon, for example, that are on the opposite end. And so that's the big problem, is that they only single out one character without actually looking at the full design roster, looking at all the other characters they designed. It's the same case with Dragon's Crown. It's the same case that there was a shooter a while back where that got under fire, no pun intended, but that's just the problem. They single out the one thing that pisses them off, but they don't look to see if, maybe if they designed the other characters, probably put in a little bit of variety, because maybe, yeah, they're stylists, but they can put a different variety, but just, yeah, that's the big problem.
Or the other problem also is just, holy crap, sometimes things are just satire. Because in the case of Dragon's Crown, that was satirized, and it was criticized for being legitimate. And I've seen artists go on the record from Dragon's Crown going, no, we did that because we wanted to, It's not because we were trying to make a statement or anything like that. We just wanted to. And it's frustrating to me when crap like that happens. But,
Gaijin brought this up in his video that, well, hey, it's not just women that get these weird, these overly sexy designs. Men get it too. You can look at me. I'm not. You look at me. I am no Duke Nukem, that's for sure. In my body build.
Dude, if we lived in the Justice League universe, how freaking butch would we all look right now? Big barrel-chested. I mean, really.
Well, maybe if we were in one created by Rob Liefeld, because I know in the recent run of the comics, they've been trying to go for...
I meant the cartoon. The Justice League cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because that's one of the examples that Gaijin has brought up. Is, if we followed that logic, we'd all be barrel-chested. If we were all in the context of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, we would be manscaped.
Only in parts 1 through 3. Once he gets to part 4, he tends to slim down his designs.
Alright. But, okay, so I think we need to move on, because we actually already been through the tech portion of the show yet.
Well,
there's still so much more rage!
Yes.
So, first of all, I just want to point out the name that I gave this story on the notes. F.U. Konami. So Konami has been in the news this week as they have started their new campaign for pachinko machines. I did not bring this up last week, but the Shadow Blazer technically found a trailer right before we broadcast, and I was angry. Deep angry after it, because it was the Castlevania pachinko machine. I'm just going to point everybody to the YouTube video, but the bottom line is to sum up the entire trailer, erotic violence. Because, yeah, that's what Castlevania is about.
That's literally the tagline, people. That's not him just saying it. That is the tagline in the trailer.
I'm not gonna lie though, I was sold until I saw the trailer.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong about this because I never saw a trailer from them, but SNK, when they came out with the King of Fighters pachinkos, did they actually have trailers to them?
Well,
I don't know.
I don't think it would make sense.
yeah, I think Konami's been the only one that I've seen trailers for their pachinko machines for, because they've even had trailers for some of their other arcade stuff. I mean, there was a trailer for Silent Hill the arcade, Castlevania the arcade. I remember that there was a pachinko machine a while back that used the models from Curse of Darkness, although what they did to Sypha in that pachinko game is really, really messed up if you know the character.
Yep. And I'm kind of glad you brought up the Silent Hill one, because that was another pachinko machine that got announced, except I don't think it's a pachinko machine. It looked like a slot machine.
That's kind of what pachinko is.
Oh, okay. I was going to say pachinko was a different kind of game, isn't it?
It's kind of like a mixture of pinball and slots, except it's all vertical. I mean,
yeah, if
you remember that level in Super Mario Sunshine where you're shooting around and you see all those little pegs?
Oh.
That's modeled after a pachinko machine.
So many memories.
So many memories of Egoraptor wrecking his office after that.
I like Super Mario Sunshine, but that level's bullshit.
So the new Silent Hill one also came out, and basically the theme of that was horror, and more horror.
All in quotes.
Yeah, get 3 evil eyes and win, or maybe lose. We don't know. So we had that, but we also had kind of a snippet article from Kotaku that came out basically explaining how work conditions are in the current day Konami. And I don't know if I was the only one that read this and got extremely pissed off, because Konami knows better. At least I thought they did. So this basically, I don't know how they got this information. Let's see. Oh, Nikkei, that's how they got it. So they actually found out how the working conditions at Konami in Japan have just gone down freaking hill. Because ever since so basically the reasoning for this is that ever since a mobile game went nuts, which I believe was a Japan-only one, wasn't it? Let's see. I can't find the name for it, but I believe it was a Japan-only mobile game. And since mobile games don't take that much money to make, and they got such a raw profit from it, they went, oh, well, we can do this with console games. No, you can't. Console games cost more.
Mm-hmm.
And so the basic way that they would handle this stuff is that if a console did good, but it didn't give the raw profit that the mobile game gave, that was the team's fault. And therefore, they would actually start hacking off programmers in order to save budget costs and reroute them to other jobs in Konami, like security guard.
Or janitor.
Or janitor, or whatnot. Now, I don't know if you guys actually saw, I actually found the story while researching this. Apparently, one of the cases also, and I was not able to find a confirmation for it, but one of the people that got rerouted as a security guard was a very passionate programmer. And he loved his job. And he was on cloud nine when he got hired by Konami. He got rerouted to security guard, and basically went into such a deep depression he actually committed suicide. And Konami didn't even give two craps about it. They didn't even say anything in their invoice memos. They didn't send flowers. They did nothing. And that is absolute bullcrap, in my opinion. Now, again, I can't confirm the story because I could not get a second confirmation of it. But if that happened, that is absolute bullcrap, Konami, and you deserve everything you're getting right now. You deserve everything. You deserve the fact that Hideo Kojima is going to leave your company and go off and do something that he wants to do and be successful with it, while you're off doing pachinko machines. And I get that that's successful for you, but you don't treat programmers like that. Programmers are just as passionate as any one of us who review those games. And that is a sad end to a guy who was literally on cloud nine because he was working for his ideal developer. He was working on, I believe they actually said he was working on a series that he loved. And that just makes the story even sadder. You know? How many people, like, this is a perfect an example that I can come up with because I'm a Blizzard fan. How many people get absolutely stoked when they have made a mod for one of Blizzard's games and they are immediately contacted by Blizzard to work for them? And what would happen if they had moved all the way from, wherever, Ohio, or, halfway across the states, and then get relegated to a janitor's position when they were literally offered a position on the game they loved? That would be the dumbest thing in the world, and every kind of criticism that would be being doled out to Blizzard would be deserved. Because of this stupid reason. A mobile game is not a console game. It will have different profits. An online game will have different profits and different margins. You cannot measure them all. And this was a stupid idea on Konami's part.
Mm-hmm.
But do people have thoughts aside from me ripping Konami a new one?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sadly, it's just more of the stuff going on, because I remember back with the Super Bunny Hop video where he got information from an insider at Konami about how they were basically phasing out the people at Kojima Productions, more or less trying to get them to quit instead of firing them, so that way they wouldn't have to pay them severance. And
yeah,
it's just
bullcrap.
Yeah. I mean,
it's one of those things that makes me very happy that when Kojima was going through his whole crap with Konami and eventually getting fired, that he was slowly trying to move the people that he was working with that he liked and trying to get a reputation with them so that they could come and work for him. That's a great concept, because then at that point, if Kojima were to immediately announce, I'm making a game studio because I've headhunted so many people from Konami, I'd be absolutely stoked with that.
Yeah.
Because the CEO would be a guy who loves and appreciates games. That would be a Satoru Iwata situation right there. There would be people literally screaming on the internet, I give you my money! So, Aldo, do you have any thoughts on this Konami situation?
Nothing that you haven't already said.
Yeah, it's absolute bullcrap. Shadow Blazer, you are not a Konami fan,
No.
but you're dealing with something very similar. So, your thoughts on Konami and whether or not they are the ultimate douchebags of the gaming world?
Boy, they certainly have become them recently, it sounds like. What in the holy hell happened here? You know?
Can we just call them the anime supervillain of the week?
That's
right
what
now?
it seems like. Oh my god, it's just like...
They're getting about as much cred as what's suspected from Central Park.
Mhm.
John O'Donnell, that literally paid to have MD Geist remade and a sequel made. This is what Konami's become.
Jeez, I mean, like, stuff that also has come up, they keep shuffling email addresses of their employees to prevent recruiters from contacting them. They have security cameras in their offices for the sole purpose of just watching their employees.
Well, not just the offices, the bathrooms too, I believe. Bathrooms too, because they were concerned that efficiency was dropping when people would go to the bathroom. Seriously, Konami? Seriously? There's efficiency going on. It's an efficiency you know all too well.
This is...
It's called doling out the bullshits.
Yeah, you mentioned, of course, that their the way they sanction bad employees is by sending them to meager jobs. Unfortunately, that's kind of a problem in a lot of Japanese corporations. Is rather than just fire a person, they triage them to somewhere undesirable.
Yeah, and it's just like, look, I get that if you had to move the guy that you couldn't keep on in the team, and so the best way that you could do this, but still, I would not just relegate them off and just shove them away. This is one of those situations where, like, if I was the CEO, I'd pull the guy aside and say, look, dude, you've done tremendous work for us, but we're having really big money problems. Hell, I'd be the lead director in the game that saw his work, and I'd say, you know what? Take half my paycheck and give it to him. I'm good. I'm already doing good games. Just to help the guy out, because I already know he's a passionate programmer. And to drop him from the team and just relegate him to a janitor, I get that you're trying to save money, but that's an insult.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. And if I don't know a whole lot about Japanese culture, but I do know this. If you insult their professionalism, that's a slap in the face right there, boys and girls.
Yeah, but it also goes into the whole idea of how people try to avoid being directly confrontational in Japan, and so it's just part of that whole. It's not solely that it's you're just demeaning them by it's the stupid passive aggressiveness of it too.
Yeah, it's just the whole situation just frustrates me. I'm gonna get off my soapbox now. I think we've pretty much hit this nail on the head. If Konami comes back, I don't care. At this point, I probably wouldn't even buy their games.
They're probably not going to come back at this point because their CEO has gone completely insane. He's like, we're only going to do pachinko stuff because that's what makes money.
What I was trying to say was basically, if I see another Konami store, I'm not even going to report on it because I just don't want to give these guys the light of day anymore. I really don't. So on to the next story here. This is another one that this is the Rage Tech Hour, apparently. So a Twitch streamer, and I actually need to bring up his name because he's a League of Legends streamer, which is already such a good sign to me, because most of the League of Legends streamers, at least the ones that I have seen, have been kind of a major reason for the toxic community in that game. Trick2G. A Twitch streamer by the name of Trick2G in League of Legends, I believe was doing a 24-hour stream. It doesn't... to commemorate the fact that he'd amassed 800,000 followers. So he did a 24-hour live stream. I believe it's all of League of Legends. And then all of a sudden, near the end of his stream, it looks like he's going to get swatted. So if people do not know what that term is, basically it is somebody has called in a violent threat at your address. They basically said, this guy's got a gun, he's going to kill people. Or, there's a bomb here, you need to come and disarm it. Or there's a hostage situation where the SWAT has to come in and all the guy's doing is playing Call of Duty. All he's doing. And that's a waste of funds on the police department's end, and that's also a just piss-off kind of experience for the streamer themselves. Especially since on a lot of occasions when these swattings are happening, they're either pranks or some kind of revenge.
Yep.
All right? And it's never in good taste.
Nope.
This kid looked like he was getting swatted. Turns out, it was completely fake. I could tell you that because I've seen the video footage, and there's no way that a SWAT team would be dressed up the way they were. But the fact that he did that is already enough of a hot button, and he could say goodbye to those 800,000 subscribers because the following Monday, his Twitch channel was gone. Bravo, Twitch!
Yeah. He was
Bravo,
banished.
Twitch!
He was banished to the Black O.
To the Blagaho. And rightly so. This is such a hot button topic, guys. This is just like not in good taste at all.
Nope.
And on top of that, with the way that this stream happened, it's very clear that this was probably scripted at some point. Which means this guy actually came up with the idea. So he basically was saying, you know all those people who have had really horrible experiences getting swatted? I'm going to make fun
Let's
of them.
flashback.
Yeah. Let's flash back. Let's bring it up for the sake of satire. And even I would have said, dude, too soon. Dude, just, no, not in good taste at all. Now, here's the thing, too. I actually made my mention known on this story. And somebody actually brought up, well, Drek, but you guys like to make fun of the whole prospect of Disney coming, banging down your door in SWAT outfits with mouse ears because you keep talking bad about Disney. First of all, that would never happen. I would never stage that. Not unless I wanted it. Like, that would be a death wish to my channel.
Mm-hmm.
That would be like final hurrah, basically, because I know I'd get kicked after that. Second of all, they're in mouse ears. Do you really think that's SWAT?
Well, the thing is, there's a difference between talking about it and making a joke, and just like an offhand joke, as we often do, and the difference between actually staging a somewhat realistic-looking event.
Yes.
And it's an event that, as much as I hate Tumblr and their stupid trigger warning for everything, this is a trigger warning, especially considering the field that you're in. Considering your fellow streamers in the community that goes on.
Mm-hmm. And it's not just like Call of Duty streamers. I mean, I know League of Legends streamers have also been hit.
Yeah.
There's a ton of people that have been hit. I just barely got told of a Hearthstone guy that got swatted. It's a freaking card game, guys! Go watch some Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. Get a sense of humor. Before I play a card, I'm going to tell you the entire life story of that card, because it is resembling my own. I was born on the night of August 23rd. It was raining that night. No, I'm not even going to... And here's what made it even better. I don't know if you guys noticed this in the story. The following Sunday, to further play out the facade, Trick2G put up a YouTube video of the music video from Akon, Locked Up, to further help with the fantasy here that he had... First of all, you would not have Twitter in jail. You'd have a tweet of some kind, but it would not be on a phone.
I saw the video, that kid would not last a week in jail.
No, not at all. Not at all.
He
And
would
the
get
fact-
traded around for money so quickly.
Really? Money?
He'd be money.
I was gonna say he is
Yeah.
currency. He'd
Yeah.
be traded around for cigs at that
Sorry.
point.
Pisses me off, that kid. It's just,
It's such bad taste.
well, the thing that bugs me the most is that his manager came out and defended him, and they were talking
Yes.
about, and I was just like, oh God, no.
Yes,
Ah.
I'm trying to look for the actual quote, but the manager came out in support of him. And dude, like,
I got the quote here.
please read it.
So his manager or PR, whatever she is, Cher Gambino, who called it an extreme fake ending to for an extremely entertaining Trick 2G. Trick is an entertainer, and that is just how he streams, 12 to 14 hours a day, brings constant laughter throughout each and every stream, Gambino wrote. Now I know what some of you are saying. Cher, it's not funny to make a joke about being swatted, she continued. There is always someone who thinks only there is sense of humor in what matters. If they don't think it's funny, it can possibly be. That is why our country is in the shape now, because we fear making light of anything that might be thought of as controversial.
So
You
basically,
are
she's
fucking
making
idiot.
so she's bringing a freedom of speech argument
Yeah.
that's falling on so many deaf ears.
Not even a freedom of speech, just that, oh, we're too sensitive. This is not an issue of being...
We're too
Yeah.
politically
To me,
correct.
this is the equivalent of yelling fire in a crowded theater. It's
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. I mean, if you wanted to make a joke about swatting, there is a way to do it. If you actually wanted to do a swatting sketch, there is a way to do it. But the key thing is that you don't want to make people think that it's actually happening.
No, I mean, if this had been like, I don't know, Angry Joe or Andre the Black Nerd, the SWAT would come in and all of a sudden we'd have a lightsaber fight. And that's how you know it wouldn't even be likely that this is happening, because Joe would be throwing around Force Lightning.
Actually, I just imagined like the SWAT coming in on Joe, and him ranting about the SWAT to the point where they just like back away, like calm down, dude, and they just walk out.
Exactly. I could totally see it. I mean, if he had gotten, like, for example, if anybody saw the whole Arkham Knight rage that Angry Joe went through, I mean, could you just see, like, the cops get called on him for disturbing the peace, for how much he was screaming in that video?
yeah.
Actually, I wonder how he hasn't been evicted.
Yeah, but
I'm
the
wondering that too, actually.
point being, there's a right way, because, I mean, I can understand, like, yeah, maybe people too overreact, but that's the thing. There's a right way and a wrong way to do this. I mean, George Carlin's gone on record that you can make jokes about anything. You just have to do it well and know how to do it right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, I mean, to the whole comment of, yes, we live in a PC age. I have no disagreements about this, but it's common sense. If this was going on and it was actually like hurting the lives of those who I appreciated, I would not be making a joke about it. And another thing too is, SNL has not been making jokes like this. No comedy sketch show really has. So if they're not doing it, maybe you shouldn't do it.
This is to me like the equivalent of coming out and going through like the production value of making The Hurt Locker and then making it a comedy about disarming bombs in Iraq. It's like, no, that's not the way you would do that.
Yes.
You would not go for an extremely realistic route just to make fun of this thing that could potentially be or an event that is extremely traumatizing for certain people.
Yes.
Because there's no question about it. This is a traumatic event.
Yes.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it is played off as said traumatic event. I mean, this guy probably also had people like trying to call up and saying, "Is he actually okay? Is he in jail right now?" And I can only imagine, some of these 800,000 followers that saw this happen live,
Yeah.
and they just unsub because not cool, dude.
Yeah.
You don't make fun of this crap.
Or, what if they didn't even think of this as a swatting? What if they thought it was just a bunch of random armed thugs who barged in and...
Because the way that it actually, like, the whole dialogue, it says in the article that somebody screamed police, but I've also seen another thing saying that the first thing that was screamed was gun. So at that point, how can you not assume the worst on the viewing side of that? How can you not? I'd immediately be like, is this guy all right? Should I be calling up their local police? That's how that's going.
Yeah,
And the fact that this is just...
it's just
nuts.
Yeah, even the prankster of pranksters, Andy Kaufman, knew that there was a limit to how far you take a prank. And again, this is Andy freaking Kaufman, who would walk around farmers markets pretending to be a lookalike of Andy Kaufman, and just basically, even people like Andy Kaufman knew that there's a limit to a joke, that you can go too far.
Yes, and just, I mean, I've hit this thing over the head over and over again. Not cool, dude. Not in good taste at all. And on top of that, I usually am not glad for negative kind of reactions happening to you. But you know what? I'm glad Twitch banned you. I hope it's permanent. I hope you have to start from the ground up, because you know what? I hate to tell you this, because I don't want to get, the copyright claim from Nash, but what the fuck is wrong with you? Seriously.
Yep.
And with that, let's go ahead and move to the next story, which is at least somewhat optimistic. So apparently there was a game came out on Steam. I'm bringing up the article, so I need to get the title of it. But it was basically touted as the hardest... That was on... Am I back? Okay. Yes,
Yeah,
I'm back.
you're back.
All right, for some reason...
And you're gone.
Journey of the Lord Cress. Oh, what? What?
You were gone again.
And again.
Well, no, now I'm not talking.
Nope.
Okay. So, yes, there was a game called Journey of the Light by developer Lord Cress. And he was touting it as being one of the most difficult games, puzzle games on Steam, with 7 highly difficult chapters. And I don't know if this was intentional or not, because depending on who you go to, it was either rigged by him or it was just intentionally bugged somehow. But basically, even though it's supposed to have like 7 levels or 7 chapters, you couldn't go past chapter 1. And it was pretty much like you just walking in a dark hallway.
It was a puzzle that was not meant to ever be solved.
Yes, it was literally that. And the only evidence that puzzles had been solved were because the developer had gotten achievements. So he had apparently made his way into Chapter 3, but people are still wondering how he did that, probably rigged the code so that he could get the achievement. And so Steam basically looked at this and went, yeah, this isn't good, and decided to not only rip Journey of the Light off of Steam, but actually issued refunds to people who had purchased it. I don't believe it was direct refunds to everybody, but like if you claimed that you had purchased it and they had the record saying you did, you
No, it was refunds to anybody who had the game at any point in time.
So they proactively did that.
Yeah.
Well,
Good
remember,
job
this-
for you, Steam.
Well, remember, this does come right after Steam decided to include refunds in its policy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
But-
it's interesting.
And then
Good timing.
can I just let my rage out? This man
Go
has
ahead.
the damn audacity to go on Twitter and complain about how Steam
Yes.
is taking away his sales or his broken, budgety-ass scam that he made of a game.
Yeah, it's like saying, it's like Steam refunds are a good thing, except for the indie developers. It's just, what the hell, man?
Okay, so here's the tweet. So, hashtag Steam refunds is a great ad for Steam. However, it is hurting, hashtag indie dev, my sales after refunding took its place. I actually agree with, we're looking at the Indie Ruckus article. No, Lord Cress, the only thing that is hurting your sales is your broken damn game. This is the equivalent of a scam, a pyramid scheme. I'm actually kind of surprised he didn't put in freaking microtransactions. You want to get to the next chapter? You can't figure it out? $5.
I mean, I don't just.
This man should consider him lucky that nobody actually took him to like the Better Business Bureau or just pursued legal action against false advertising.
I'm sure somebody did. And on top of that, more power to them, because then at that point they can go to Steam and say, "Can I get your records? Because I'm reporting him to the Better Business Bureau," and they could at least give some record that they had done this. You know, that they had ripped his game off of Steam and they had refunded. So that's great for them. But just holy crap! Now here's the one thing that I wasn't able to figure out: was this wasn't Indie Greenlight? You know, like this wasn't in beta or whatever, was it?
No.
Okay,
Nope.
so this was a legitimate game.
This is a game that had been out, and I think they said it had been out for like a few months, and it had been completed, and apparently, allegedly, the man had already sent out a patch, but it's a patch that was never uploaded and never existed, and none of the files had ever been changed since he put the game on
Oh, no,
Steam.
he had an excuse for that, too. He had I'm trying to look for it, but
I'm pretty sure he has an excuse for everything.
Yeah. Well, no, the excuse just doesn't help him at all. He's
Nope.
like, "Yes, I'm patching the game." No, you're not.
Oh.
Very sketchy business right there. Don't like, to any developers out there, I have no problem supporting you. If you're going to do this crap, you're not going to get my support. This was again, I'm surprised this guy just didn't add microtransactions for that 5-year-old who was trying to get to level 2 in Journey of the Light and used his mom's credit card to do it. Because that story could have happened here. And then at that point, I mean, they'd get the refund back, but it would just be even worse because, you know, poor mom would probably have a big credit card bill that month because her kid could not get through the dang game. Lord Cress, I'm again going to do this. Please, Nash, don't sue me. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I think we pretty much have our official D-bag of the week.
Yeah.
I think this
Well,
guy
really
should.
Don't sue us.
I think
We
this
have
guy
our
should go
douchebag
work.
company and our douchebag individual.
I think this guy should go work for Konami.
I think this guy should go work for them too.
I think that'll just be the new thing. Like, oh, you're a bad indie developer that tried to rip people off Steam. You're sentenced to hereby work for Konami.
I got a great idea. Let's go get jobs for Lord Cress at Konami, as well as Trick2G.
Trick2G can be their spokesperson.
I was going to say he could be their janitor just so that I can unzip my fly and piss on the floor. Because I'd do it. Just because just such a jerk move.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna get hate mail for it. I don't care. That was just jerk stuff to do. Like, this is one of those things where I really wish I had a soundboard to be able to go, and this is the Geek News douchebag of the week. Because this guy would win it. This guy would win it over Konami right now. But thankfully, we don't have to talk about the douchebags anymore. Well, we kind of do. Because we're going to go into the entertainment portion of this week. And so this is still in speculation, but it was pretty much... There was really not a whole lot of entertainment news this week because of Gamescom. And this is one of the few things that I could find. So Fox and Marvel apparently are in talks to bring a new X-Men TV series. They haven't said where. I would assume it'd be something along the lines of like Netflix. Because I just don't see a network taking this.
Well,
Not even Fox.
yeah, I could actually, I could kind of see, given how popular shows like Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, and I can actually kind of see a network trying to get in on the superhero market. Didn't work out for NBC, but CBS has got Supergirl, so I do see a network probably trying to pick this up.
Except Fox can barely make a decent X-Men film without Bryan Singer, much less a damn TV series with like an eighth of the budget and like a quarter of the star talent.
And that's
And the other thing you have to assume with that, Aldo, is you've just said it. You cannot make a good X-Men film without Bryan Singer.
Well, first
So
class
we have
is
to
all
downgrade Bryan Singer to TV?
Bryan Singer did work on House, you know.
Yes, he did. I know that.
So he's
Yeah.
done TV.
But the thing
Romney,
is,
Romney, I interrupted you, so go ahead.
Yeah. The thing is, though, what a lot of people tend to forget is that they tried a live-action X-Men. It was called Mutant X. Problem is that... Yeah.
You had to bring that up!
Well, yeah. Of course, it may be different because the difference is that with Mutant X, it was on UPN, and it violated the royalty rights that Fox had set up with Marvel, and so they had to remove all mentions of anything related to the X-Men universe. But again, it's just...
Which like 3 actors at least were ripped off the series.
Yeah.
Could not be there. Like, there was an outright Professor X ripoff. There was an outright Storm ripoff, because he was the main character. Yeah, they literally got fired, because, yeah, Marvel. And what made that even better is that it was always right after Andromeda with Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah. Honestly, the only things I watched that channel for was when they were showing Xena and Hercules and that Honey I Shrunk the Kids show, and that was it.
Yeah.
I remember that show.
I watched Voyager on UPN, but that's about it. And maybe Enterprise, like the first season. But okay, so first of all, I just don't think this is very likely. Because first of all, I would demand that Marvel's making it. And I can't even see if the Fox and Marvel, at least from what I'm understanding of the articles I've seen, they can't agree on who's making it.
Yeah.
So at that point, I would immediately say Marvel, because Marvel knows the rights and knows the property. But I have every thought that Fox would just step in and go, no, we got this.
Yeah.
And screw it up.
And to be honest, I can see an X-Men TV series. It would just have to be done right. I mean, for example, if I was a showrunner pitching it, here's how I would do it, just to keep costs down. Instead of having it be, we're going to adapt like events for the comics, just have it be an anthology series where it focuses on, where each episode just tells a self-contained story about a specific character, maybe about how they discover their powers, or just an adventure they have at Xavier's school. That would probably be the simplest way to keep costs down. I mean, yeah, you can have winks and nods to other known characters, but each episode would just have a self-contained story. That way, you also would have to limit the amount of reoccurring characters you'd have to hire.
The other thing that also kind of came to my mind that they could do is kind of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. route, where you could bring on like a veteran actor like Clark Gregg, maybe for a lesser budget, and have him come in every now and then as kind of a mentor to a minor team. Like, you don't have to do Storm, Cyclops, and Jean Grey. You could do some lesser-known mutants.
Well, yeah, plus look at the New Mutants. That's literally the subset team that they've got for that sort of thing.
Yeah. And, I mean, Marvel's getting ready to launch Inhumans because they can't do anything with X-Men. So, although we've interrupted you a couple of times at this point, so I'm sorry, man.
Oh, no, it's fine. No, it's just, it just makes me angry that Fox wants... Damn it, Fox. I can't even get a sentence out. Like, that's just how angry I am right now.
I'm just curious with this. Has anybody here seen the new Fantastic Four that came out this weekend? Like, is part of that kind of fueling this, too?
You know what that's kind of the thing that bothers me. I don't know how much of it is Trank's fault and how much of it is Fox's fault. I know Trank went out on Twitter and said, this is not the movie I made, blah, 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 trying to pass off the blame on Fox. So if that's accurate, well, then F you, Fox. If that's not accurate, then F you, Trank.
Well, Alex, we're in for a rough ride, I guess.
But the thing is, you know what the funny thing is? And I haven't seen the film, but literally at the premiere for Fantastic Four, they were handing out surveys to the people attending the premiere saying, well, what direction do you want us to take the franchise? And they literally were handing out surveys saying, well, where do you want us to take the franchise?
Some new damn writers!
Or, I mean, the one that I saw, that a tweet that somebody put out, was like, is giving it back to Marvel an option?
Yeah.
It's just...
Let's give it to them.
Hey, and premiere is not when you do a focus group.
And then the fact that they release this mess of a movie and then decide, oh hey, let's, the only franchise we barely have that's hanging on by a decent thread on how good it is, yeah, let's go ahead and try and screw that up with a TV series. Because Lord knows that.
That's not even a legitimate claim, although, because the last movie was an apology note for the previous movies.
Exactly, and it's like, and my problem is, I have no problem with an X-Men series. I think that'd be great. You can go New Mutants, you can go X-Force, you can go Runaways, you can do whatever you want with the X-Men universe, and it would be good, but not in the hands of Fox, I feel. And the problem is, they're saying X-Men, we want to do an X-Men series. Your core X-Men group can't even make a decent movie.
Yes.
People would want and would expect Wolverine, Cyclops, and Jean Grey.
That's the
and
problem,
Storm,
is that they would expect that, and you would immediately be doomed from the start. Because if you go in there and Wolverine isn't being played by Hugh Jackman, this is something really kind of superficial, but people are going to complain about that.
This is something that you have to plan so carefully, considering the state of the movies right now. You'd have to figure out a way to get Hugh Jackman to do a cameo. You'd have to wait until Hugh Jackman passes that torch.
Yes.
Because
on top of that, just looking at how Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has tiptoed around the word mutant. They can't say mutant in it. They have to go. That's why they're going this whole Inhumans route, is because they can't say mutant without having Fox down their throat. That's how thin wire this series would be if you had. Because I agree with you completely, although you'd have to have Cyclops, you'd have to have Jean Grey. Even though my viewpoint on it is there's a lot of X-Men that nobody knows. Start there. That's what First Class did.
Yeah. You know what I would love? Me personally, you know what I would love? I would love to see something with Angel. I would love to see something with Blink. I would love to see... Hell, I'd love to see the stuff that's going on like now with, what's her name? Eva Bell and Gold Balls.
Wait. There's a mutant called Gold Balls? I missed this.
Yeah, there's a mutant named Gold Balls, and he releases giant golden balls out of his body that hit and bounce off of people.
It sounds like a parody.
Right? It's a parody of like the whole X-Men franchise. And there's another
actual X-Men.
Yeah, this is an actual X-Men who.
Okay, Marvel, you're running out of ideas.
No, this is so. You guys don't even understand how good this is.
No, just to me, this is like the equivalent of Arm Fall Off Boy from DC.
But
That's what this is.
But that's kind of my point. Is like I would love to see something, kind of almost with a new X-Men route where you have Cyclops and like a very small team of recognizable mutants. So you could have Cyclops. You could have Angel. You could have, Storm. You have those three members. And it's a whole series about them going through the United States, finding and saving newly found mutants.
Yeah. Or like I was saying before, have an advisor there and then just go into the unknown mutant route. You could do Angel. I think Angel needs a redo because of the horrible treatment of him in 3.
Yeah.
But there are so many other mutants that you could do. You could do Jubilee. You could do freaking Magma. I mean, you could even do... What was the girl in the anime? She was specific only to the anime. Armor?
No, she wasn't. She wasn't specific to the anime. Armor?
I believe that was her name. Because she
Armor
made like armor on top of her.
Yeah, Armor's not from the anime.
Oh, okay.
She's been established for a long time.
Okay, I thought she was specific to the anime.
No, she's the 90s mutant.
You could do these characters. I mean, X-Men Evolution took the next step and did characters like Spike and Shadowcat. I'm trying to think of some of the other mutants that they did. Jinx.
You can do the thing that the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. does, and you take existing very obscure characters and you bring them in, and that's how you bring in characters that you don't have to worry about entirely preserving the character, but it's also a nod to the truth to like big fans.
Yes, because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has had lots of those nods. I mean, Season 2 was completely based around Absorbing Man, which I believe is a Hulk villain, and not a whole lot of people knew who that even was. And that was a great nod to the comics.
They could honestly introduce Eva Bell, and 90% of the audience would not know who that is, and I would just sit in my chair fanboying the crap out.
Or even better, I mean, if they did that TV series, unfortunately we lost Ron. We broke Romney's brain. We broke it. What about like if they actually got this series off the ground and it was on a network, since it's Marvel made, which is what we're all asking for, nod back to some of the other Netflix Marvel series.
Yeah.
Nod back to Shield. Because I could see you doing that. You know, have Daredevil come in on one of those just to solve a crime in New York for only that reason.
Well, you could definitely.
Or Jessica Jones, you know.
If you're mixing it into the actual Marvel universe, you can do the most beautiful thing, which is the whole mutant registration, Avengers versus X-Men stuff, and that's where you would get into some real like meat and potatoes, where you'd have Captain America, or at least you'd have Shield going like, "Hey, we gotta handle this," and then you get Scott Summers being like, "You know what? This is a mutant affair. You people can stick your nose out of it," and you'd have great drama right from the get-go.
Yes, I mean, already you could have such great moments like that and have. I mean, one of the biggest things that people laud X-Men for now as their legacy is their fight against racism. You could totally do something like the Mutant Registration Act, and people, you'd have a good storytelling angle from this. Now, I'm a little curious. Romney had a really weird look there for a second. It was like, should I even be here? What?
No, just angry at my computer.
And I love my computer hates me. Yes, this is true. I have to start doing this like you guys do. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one because we're actually running out of time here. So the next story here is, unfortunately, we're going back into Kickstarter. However, this Kickstarter has not ended, but it is a Kickstarter to bring the manga Barefoot Gen to the West, specifically to schools and libraries. So currently, it's at $10,000, almost $11,000, with a $36,000 goal. And I actually am very unfamiliar with Barefoot Gen. Alex had to bring me up to speed on some of the details for it. It's kind of like a biopic, isn't it?
It's semi-autobiographical, because it's about a kid and his family who survived the bombing of Hiroshima.
Yes. And so, and I just want to make sure I understand. This guy has he has long since passed away after this manga was made, and I guess an anime was done in Japan for it.
Yeah, there's been 2 anime movies based on the Barefoot Gen.
Yeah, there's been 2 anime movies. There's been a couple of live action. There's been a live action movie and a live action television series based on it as well.
Yeah, and so it's a very similar story to like Grave of the Fireflies in that essence. It's a sad story, but it's also accurate because it actually follows the tale of what is his full name? Keiji Nakazawa.
Well, yeah, that's the name of the mangaka.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, although it is based on his own experience, because there is an autobiographical manga that he did prior to Barefoot Gen called I Saw It, because he actually did live through the bombing of Hiroshima.
Yeah, I'm seeing the details here. So basically, this is only to bring it to select schools and libraries. I would actually like to see a list of people. Like, can you petition to be one of the schools that would receive it?
If you donate,
do they have ones?
Yeah, if you donate to the campaign, you can either receive copies yourself, you can choose a library or school, or you can even split it. You can get a copy and also donate a copy.
Okay. So that's pretty cool. So this has got 30 more days to go. So if people are interested in this, please donate to it. I actually think it's just interesting that, at least in my time, there was never such a thing as manga in your school library.
Yeah, and it's actually a very important manga series because it gives us a very rare glimpse as what it was like to actually live in Japan during the war, and it actually shows that not all of the citizens of Japan were in favor of going to war with the U.S.
Yes, and that's in a lot of cases why I think this should be funded to some extent, is because, like here's the thing, I've never seen Grave of the Fireflies. I know it's depressing, but I know the story behind it. And this is one of those stories that I think would also be inspirational, but also historical to it. And I think even if just 1 out of 10 kids was inspired by this story, that would be enough for it. So come out and support this. I think it would actually be a really good effort for us, and maybe it would open a couple of other doors. I'm not saying that we're going to see like Death Note in your school library, but
No.
you might see other stuff that
No, the stuff you-
is important.
Well, yeah, like the stuff like Barefoot Gen is a good example of a manga series that has a place in schools. You then could also, for example, in like high schools, you could have stuff like Osamu Tezuka's Buddha series, which actually kind of chronicles the life of Gautama Siddhartha. Or you can even study kind of the philosophical implications of some of Tezuka's other series, like Phoenix, especially Phoenix.
I was actually going to ask you if Phoenix was Tezuka because I couldn't remember.
Yeah, Phoenix was Tezuka, and you could pretty much have a class on kind of a lot of the heavier themes that Tezuka explores with Phoenix. But there's also a bunch of other manga that we may not know about. I mean, one good one that I'd throw in there would be something called In Clothes Called That by Mayoko Ano, which is another like autobiographical essay about what it's like living, like basically dealing with body issues in Japan. It gives that kind of insight that people who are more visual learners could interpret.
There's also another really good one out there called Color of Rage, which is about a black man in Japan, and it kind of talks about the racism that goes on there as well.
I've heard of that one. It's been recommended to me.
Well, yeah, and there's even another one. I think it's called like Letters to Adolf, which that one. I don't know if it was Tezuka or if another mangaka, but it basically is another like wartime story that just talks about someone who just happens to also be named Adolf during the World War II.
During the time of Hitler. That's kind of creepy.
I mean,
I feel bad for them.
I mean, I would put Barefoot Gen right up there with Mouse in terms of historical significance.
Yeah. And that's the thing. We're just talking about manga at this point. Then the amount of also comic books that also have, a cultural and historical relevance and just teachings and the message that they sent out. I'm not saying this.
X-Men and one of their major messages is racism.
Yeah, well, but that's a thing.
I would not prescribe the entire X-Men line. I'm not saying that.
Right, exactly.
There are a couple of good moments.
I'm saying there's stuff out there definitely like Pride of Baghdad, which is a really good Brian K. Vaughan book about the bombings in Baghdad.
Yeah, there's Persepolis as well. Persepolis is about a story of a girl growing up in Iran. That's another good one.
Exactly. So I mean, there's I'm not saying this will open up doors for these sort of possibilities. But this could set a precedent, and it could start a chain of things,
Mm-hmm.
And not necessarily a chain I hate. So, it's got 30 days, guys. Go and fund that. Just for the heck of it. I would actually read Barefoot Gen if I could get a copy of it. You want to send a copy to me? I'll read it.
Yeah,
I'm a manga fan. I'll read it.
I remember I've seen copies at my library out of sheer luck, and basically. It's eye-opening because it does not hold back. It doesn't try to... I mean, literally, just look up the animated scene of the dropping of the bomb from Barefoot Gen, the movie. And, you'll see just how disturbing that is, but that's because, well, that's how disturbing it actually was.
It's dropping the bomb, yeah.
Yeah, dropping the bomb, killing hundreds, if not thousands of people, not to mention all the radiation that still lingers in Hiroshima to this day.
It's the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki should never be something that is sugar-coated because it is something that's very real, very recent, and is very important.
Refresh my memory for you guys, because this was kind of a prominent thing when I was growing up as a kid, and I'm the old fart here. There was a book that was read each year in my elementary school. I'm probably going to murder the name, like 10,000 Cranes, where it was about a girl who survived.
1,000 Cranes. The 1,000 Cranes of Sadako.
Yep.
So that was read to me every year, and you know what? As a kid, it didn't have a whole lot of significance to me. As an adult, it does.
Yeah, it's also there's also another story that also talks about kind of the crap that we did here in the U.S. during the time to Japanese citizens, and I mean, of course, you've got George Takei's musical Allegiance, since he actually was in the internment camps. But one book that we read when we were covering it was called Under the Blood Red Sun, and it talks about a family of Japanese citizens. They're American citizens, but they're of Japanese descent, living in Hawaii and it's covering in the wake of Pearl Harbor.
Yeah. So, I also need to move to other stories, but this is a great thing. I actually think this would be a great idea for kids to actually get access to. I had 1,000 Cranes of Sadako, so I don't see a reason why this couldn't go into schools. I really don't. So moving on to the next story here. So the rest of the night is basically going to be discussion of either trailers, or we actually do have a review, and I actually have to let the Shadow Blazer know when we get into that, because he has to check out, and he has to immediately point the camera, according to Romney, he has to point the camera to his 3DS, and we're just going to play the gameplay or whatnot. He's ready. So first of all, it's the trailer discussion. So the first Deadpool trailer is out. And I don't know if you guys have all seen it. The one I have seen is the Red Band trailer, which is the one I linked. So you actually had to show your age and all that. And without going into too much detail, like what are people's thoughts on? Well, you know what? It's a trailer. You can go into detail because it's a freaking trailer. It's not revealing anything. So Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. Just give your general thoughts on Deadpool.
So I was one of like the people that actually got a chance to see the leaked Comic-Con trailer, the weird handycam footage Deadpool trailer, and I saw that one, which was also a Red Band trailer. So immediately I noticed that there was stuff that they had cut out for it. They cut out in both the Green and the Red Band trailer. They cut out the introduction to Negasonic Teenage Warhead, who's supposed to be a pretty big character. Not a pretty big character, but just a character in the movie. But otherwise, I'm excited. I don't know if you guys also saw the teaser.
I've seen the trailer for the trailer. That's all I've seen.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the Red Band trailer. And my favorite line from the trailer for a trailer is the whole, like, from the idiots who stitch his mouth shut.
Yes. I love the fact that they are not holding back any blows. One of my favorite lines from the trailer still is please don't make the suit green or animate it.
Yes, I love that whole concept.
That and the whole topographical map of Utah line.
Yes, that was so bad. That was so funny. So the other thing too is Ryan Reynolds has gotten kind of a bad rap when it comes to superhero films. He looked really good in this. He looked like he was giving his 100% for it.
He's always given his 100%. It's not.
It's just the movie that he's been playing.
It's not his fault.
Yeah, I mean, he's had the run. Look, I mean, he tried DC, tried Marvel, didn't work. Tried DC, didn't work. Tried an independent comic, and it didn't work.
The man is trying as hard as he can to get a good
I still, to this day, get crap of, why on earth would you want Ryan Reynolds as Hal Jordan? Because he got the role right. So
honestly,
that's not my problem. And you know what? Wade Wilson, he got that right.
I'm honestly waiting for the Ryan Reynolds out of, like, the biopic, Ryan Reynolds, The Search for the Superhero movie.
That's exactly what the title needs to be now, Aldo.
From the producers that brought you Leonardo DiCaprio, The Search for the Oscar.
You can keep hoping for that, Leo. It ain't happening. So, overall, I mean, so it's gotten some controversy on the matter because, heaven forbid, that the wrong PTA mom saw it, and it's horribly violent. This tells me you've never seen a Deadpool comic.
Now there is one issue that actually is an issue that people have brought up, and that was a press statement from Fox saying, "Oh, we're not going to have Deadpool be schizophrenic," which is a major part.
I saw that.
Which is a major part of.
Agree with it.
Yeah, I understand where they come from, and I do kind of see where people want the fun part of the crazy without addressing, the actual aspects of mental illness, which I know they do explore in the Deadpool comics to a varying degrees, depending on who's writing the issue. And so
how do you do that? That's the problem. It's like the way that they tried to show his schizophrenia was that there were different bubbles in the comic for the different voices. So at that point, what do? Have Ryan? Because I mean, I get the Deadpool game had Nolan North doing the various other voices, but that doesn't really work that well in a live-action movie where Ryan Reynolds would have to do them all.
So I actually think it could be done, but one of the things that and it's been brought up in the comics, and I wouldn't blame them if they didn't do it this movie and instead would hold off to do it for another movie if it got to that point. It's the fact that the reason he's so schizophrenic, he's so fourth wall breaking, he's so aware of things, is because he constantly gets more and more insane every time his head is cut off and reattached. And if this is an origin story, you can't have him start off that way because he hasn't had his head cut off 100 times yet.
Yeah,
True.
and that's actually one of the complaints that the trailer has gotten, is that apparently there isn't enough breaking the fourth wall in the trailer. Which, again, guys, it's a trailer.
And the thing is, they break the fourth wall a few times, and I mean, I don't know how much more you want it. There's the part where he looks straight at the camera and he says, "Cue the music." There's the part where the whole Green Lantern.
There was a part at the end. Yeah, please don't make me green.
Yeah, no, animated. The animated part, I think, is more fourth wall breaking.
And then the other thing was where he looks directly into the camera at the very end. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm touching myself tonight," you know?
Yeah.
Stuff
It's like I don't know what you think breaking the fourth wall means, because to me, that was all fourth wall breaking. That was just the right amount for a trailer.
You're not going to have, like, even in a 3D feature, you are not going to have Deadpool's arms reach out and readjust the view. It's just not going to happen. So at that point, they have to find a different way to break the fourth wall.
Though one of the things they did to break the fourth wall, if you want to call it that, was in the Green Band trailer. At the end of the trailer, Deadpool pops up and he's like, "Hey, did you like that trailer? Why don't you go look at the nice nice Red Band trailer with all the violence and blah blah blah? Make sure you ask your parents for permission." Like, they're doing it right.
See, you know what? If they had actually added that to the Red Band trailer, that would have been awesome. That would have been fourth wall breaking right there. And that would have been what the comic fans have been asking for with this Deadpool film. But overall, I think everybody is getting what they wanted out of Deadpool. It's going to be violent as crap. I can at least say that the director is following that respect.
Yeah, and I think part of what helps is that I know Kevin Feige is one of the executive producers on this film. So he's probably putting some sway and saying, well, let's make sure to do this right, because, again, Origins Wolverine.
Yes. And on top of that, I also love the fact that it's a new origin. It actually is going into his before all that origin, where he had a wife, he had a kid. And that was shocking to me, because I really don't want to see like a traumatic scene of seeing how his kid and wife die. I really don't. But I do like the fact that all of a sudden the Weapon X program comes out of nowhere because he's trying to get cancer treatments. And he's literally looking at them and going, "Dude, I'm death walking. Why do you want me? Like, trust us." And then we go right into the infusing of the adamantium. The other thing, too, was there was a gun fourth wall reference, wasn't there?
Not really.
No, the gun reference was the fact that he was criticizing one of the dudes with guns for not being in proper uniform. And then he immediately looks over to that one. He's like, "Oh, he's a proper uniform. He just shit his pants."
No. That was the whole. You're wondering why I'm wearing the red suit,
Yeah,
so you
right.
bad guys can't see me bleed. And then he points. Then he points at the guy. He's like, "That guy has the right idea. He's wearing his brown pants."
Exactly. And then they also had a moment where like somebody actually shoots him through the arm, and you can actually see the hole. And he's like, "Ah!"
Oh yeah. I don't know if you paid attention to that, but when he lifts up his arm and he looks through the hole, he's watching a motorcycle drive away in the hole.
Yes.
Yeah.
And guys, this is Deadpool. This is what you're getting out of this. I don't think they're doing wrong with it by any stretch. But this is a trailer, so we have some time. All right, so unless Alex has any thoughts on the Deadpool trailer at all.
No, not really. Looks fine.
Not really. We're gonna have to see it eventually, just to see what you think of it. But let's go ahead and get into the review here. So at that point, I guess Alex gets to play some Pokemon.
Yeah.
So
Bathroom break.
this week, he's fucking. It's official. Alex is no longer our correspondent.
Well, he said bathroom break, so he will be back.
He did. He was at least that considerate. So this week, we actually had a unique offer come to the three of us, and Alex did not take it because Alex is not a DBZ fan. But local theaters in our area did get access to Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F. I want to say Resurrection Frieza, but that's just me. So Aldo and Romney got to see it together, but unfortunately, because I complicated things, because I tend to do, I actually just barely saw it this morning. And so we are now going to go into a review of Dragon Ball Z Resurrection Frieza. And overall, I actually want to get you guys' thoughts, since you were together for your review, because there was a couple like laugh out loud moments that I know if I had been with you guys, I'd just be rolling on the floor. So, what about you guys? Did you actually find those moments, or do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, there's quite a few of moments that the audience was laughing a lot about, so you may need to get a little more specific.
For me, a lot of the Goku and Vegeta interaction was just laugh out loud.
Oh, are you talking about the hand-holding thing?
That was one of them. That was one of them. I love the whole concept of them trying to take turns with Frieza.
And they start fighting.
Like, Kakarot's like, or Vegeta's like, Kakarot, you promised I was going to get my own turn! And then all of a sudden, he's like, you want your turn now? Are you kidding me? Why do I want to turn with this? So, again, big props to Chanchel and Christobot. You guys are so great, bouncing off of each other as Goku and Vegeta. The other thing that so I kind of want to try and stay into the review format here, starting with kind of the likes. I don't want to go into the plot here. Go see this or wait till it becomes available via streaming. I think Funimation will eventually do it. The other thing I also want to mention, so this week was also the first time I'd ever seen Battle of the Gods in full. I'd seen pieces of Battle. And so in order to prep for this, I actually did watch Battle of the Gods. And holy... that was good.
So let me ask you this, Adam. If you hadn't seen Battle of the Gods, having just seen it and going into Resurrection F, would you have felt lost?
Probably a little bit, because the Beerus character, first of all, he's slowly becoming one of my favorites of the series now. And I'm hoping he's in Super Dragon Ball Z.
He is,
mainly because when I started seeing the stuff on Battle of the Gods, since he was a god of destruction, I really thought he was going to be a villain. And in Battle of the Gods, he's more of a joke villain. You know,
he's more of a neutral party, which I'm enjoying.
You know, like they do a lot off the humor of, if he doesn't get what he wants, he's going to destroy the world.
Yeah, very chaotic neutral.
Yes,
I'm really honestly loving the fact that they found a way to introduce this new character who has like the potential to destroy everything, and found a way to leave him out of everything.
Yes.
His purpose, at least for the second movie, was almost to be a Deus Ex Machina, which.
But he wasn't.
Well, he was. I mean, him and Whis.
Yeah.
That was a Deus Ex. That was really convenient that Whis just had that one power to help them with the one thing that happened at the end.
But at least they actually foreshadowed it.
Because he didn't get involved.
Right. But the fact that they were... Anyways, we're going to keep arguing and Rami's probably right.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest. I may have a different opinion from you guys, because as I was working on the review that went up for Resurrection F, I gotta say, I'm kind of disappointed with this film.
Yeah.
I'm kind of there with you. So I was actually it shocked me a little bit because, you know, Frieza isn't necessarily one of my favorite villains, but this was a callback to one of the nastiest villains in DBC history, you know, if you're not including, like, Cell. Just watching Boo, it wasn't that bad to me. Like, Frieza actually had hatred for a long time. And in this one, I would actually dare say that Resurrection F is good, Battle of the Gods is better.
Yeah. That's kind of my thought as well. And one of the things, both in terms of like just the overall animation quality and just even the storytelling, it just felt very rushed.
Yeah. This Resurrection F had more 3D like CGI elements.
Yeah.
And some of them were pretty jarring. Like you could definitely tell, and I was like,
That was probably one of my biggest complaints with Resurrection F, is that Battle of the Gods had some CG moments, but they were not as frequent.
I also have to say my biggest moment, I just wanted to punch somebody in the face, was the fact that we bring in all these B characters, because let's face it, when Goku is in your movie, everybody else is a B character. but we reduce 18 to like just a stereotypical female, and we don't even see Boo.
Yeah, I was pissed at that, and we didn't even see Boo. We didn't even see Hercule.
I'm fine with not seeing Hercule. I mean,
I have a love-hate relationship with Hercule.
but the fact that this is the most climactic villain, and we don't see either Boo or 18, who are notably stronger than I think everybody that went to go fight Frieza.
Yeah, like, so here's the thing that threw me off about Resurrection F, is that we were going to get all these people. Okay, so Gohan was there, Piccolo was there, Krillin was there, Tien was there, Yamcha was not, Goten and Trunks were not, and they're both legitimately Super Saiyan, so they could fight. I mean, you had Master Roshi come in, and I haven't seen him fight since freaking Dragon Ball. You know, so you brought him back, you didn't bring back Goten and Trunks? There's people that love those characters.
Yeah, but story-wise, I can kind of see why. You don't want it to be super crowded. And they at least address that somewhat, where, in the case of Tien, he basically came there quickly and he left Chaozu behind because he didn't want Chaozu. I mean, well, let's face it, Chaozu is not that great of a fighter compared to some of the other characters. And with Yamcha...
Chaozu used explosion. It wasn't very effective.
Yeah,
No.
so they at least addressed that somewhat, where Tien basically said, I left behind Chaozu, but I didn't have time to get Yamcha. And in the case with Goten and Trunks, they at least explained that Gohan said, well, Gohan was trying to basically keep Goten and Trunks out of it, and my light just went out. Crap. Basically, they actually did explain that Gohan was the one who basically made sure not to tell Goten and Trunks because of the fact that they'd be too eager to fight Frieza, which would be an issue. So they at least covered themselves in that regard as to why everybody wasn't available.
And I get that justification, but in a lot of cases, one of the things I kind of wanted with this film was, you know, we kept on getting all those CGI teasers of thousands and thousands of warriors coming out of Frieza's ship. Like, a world-invading force was coming out. And I actually almost would have liked for them to go the angle of... I know GT did this, but I can't remember what Saga did it. Where you actually had like multiple attacks in multiple areas and individuals in those places fighting. And that's kind of what I wanted here. I think it was the Super 17 Saga, because hell opens up. And so we get to have like so many people going out, and so you had Gohan in one city, you had Krillin in another, you had Goten and Trunks in another. And I love that whole prospect. I thought that would have been a great idea to do, especially with sheer force. So I still feel it was kind of wasted, but I get your point, Rami. I get why they couldn't have too many people. The other thing that I also want to bring up to you guys, is it just me, or does Akira Toriyama not have a set design for Bulma anymore?
That's kind of always been the point, though.
Yeah.
Bulma's always meant to be looking different, sporting different hair, sporting different clothes.
Especially considering...
To me, though.
Well, it's just considering that she was like a teenager when she was first introduced, she was always constantly changing outfits and hairstyle because she was meant to be kind of one of those teenagers that would do things on a whim. And that's something that's kind of carried with the character. They stopped doing that as much, to be honest, after she married Vegeta and had Trunks. And so it's kind of the case that because it kind of signifies, okay, well, she's becoming more like an adult. But it's still kind of a case of she's one of the few characters that does consistently change her outfit every so often.
It was just a little jarring to me, because like Battle of the Gods, she looked like almost right out of either GT or the Buu Saga, where she had the short hair, she had some kind of dress on, and had the lipstick and all that, and this one she looked like she was maybe 10 years younger to an extent, and it was just like,
well,
she's Battle of the Gods, right?
She's always been meant to be kind of the eye candy of the series. I mean, as bad as that sounds, that's kind of been her role.
Yeah.
Yeah. But let's actually get into the whole concept of, so Frieza came back. Funniest thing about this film. What are people's thoughts on like the final form of Frieza and the new voice for Frieza?
Well, that's the voice
wasn't it?
Well, no, it was the same voice they had for the Kai dub. And that was mainly because they wanted to have the dialogue more faithful to what it was in the original Japanese. And the voice actress that initially did the voice for Frieza just wasn't able to maintain the voice because by being more closer, she had to speak a lot faster, and so she couldn't keep up. So they had to cast a new voice actor that was at least close enough but was able to deliver the dialogue that they had written for Kai. And so it's the same voice actor for Dragon Ball Kai.
Okay. But just overall thoughts on the final form. So it was basically just the final form, but gold, which I thought was kind of dumb, considering the biggest the biggest concept of Frieza's death was that Super Saiyan looked really cool at that point, and at this point, this new final form just looked like it was Super Saiyan for Frieza.
Yeah, but then again, in the case of Frieza's character, it kind of makes sense because Frieza. Well, because Frieza resents Goku for the whole Super Saiyan form, and it's something alluded to with some of the dialogue saying of, oh well, let's keep the naming simple, calling it Golden Frieza. It's like, oh yeah, I can turn gold too, and so it at least makes sense from a story and character perspective why Frieza would specifically choose to have a golden form. Was that way, if when he finally gets his revenge on Goku, it would kind of complete the whole thing full circle.
The other thing that made complete sense, though, also, was we didn't have, the 5 transformations. We went right into the final form, and then we went right into the new one.
I have to say, though, my one complaint, and this is probably from being just too much of, a Dragon Ball Z fan, was the fact that, in the Cooler movies, Cooler makes the point of saying, there's another form after Frieza's. And
that's my argument, too.
And you get the Predator mask. And I was hoping we'd get another Predator mask, and we did not get that.
Too. I wanted a big nasty form like Cooler.
But like Romney, so Romney and I brought this up to Romney after the movie, was the fact that the Dragon Ball movies they've always had this weird gray area of how canon they are.
Yeah,
because Toriyama has said that a lot of them are canon. But at the same time, all of them are really weird in the timeline and with what they bring to the table.
Yeah, and the only ones they had any callbacks to over the course of the initial run of the Dragon Ball Z anime was mainly as a result of needing to come up with some filler arcs while Toriyama was writing the Android saga. That's why we got the Garlic Jr. saga, which is the only tie back to the movies that we have, and even then, it was taken out in Dragon Ball Kai because it was deemed as non-canon.
Which and I think I brought this up to Romney also, was that in the Hildegard movie, they show Frieza hanging out with Cell in Hell, pretty much just talking about how much they both hate Goku. And then obviously that's in that weird gray area of canon. And the Hell we get this time around is that super cute and adorable Hell that Frieza.
That was so great. Because I was just like, am I in the right movie? And then all of a sudden the cocoon turns around and it's Frieza. It was like, this is your personal Hell. This is great. And I love the fact that they actually kind of reference that this is the Earth Hell. So at that point it would be really funny if Frieza died and then all of a sudden, no, it's just Hell. No, you're going to get this Hell wherever you are. You're going to get Playboy Bunny Fairy and stuffed animals doing a marching band.
Which I do gotta say, I love the fact that Shenron was hesitant to bring back Frieza because Frieza was in pieces and was cut up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually like that idea. And I also like the fact that he said, he said very clearly, if you do this and she's in pieces, this is not going to work right. And then basically goes, well, I warned you, and you have the eye opening up and the pieces pulsating. So it's just
his eyeball.
Yeah, his eyeball. Where was that Garlic Jr.?
No, that was Emperor Pilaf.
Emperor Pilaf, where he hands them the eye. That was creepy. But I also love the fact that Emperor Pilaf got the last wish.
Yeah.
It's like, I wish for 1 million zenny! And then all of a sudden, the first thing that they question is, you could have wished for 1 billion zenny. You've got money now!
Though I do have to say that, one of the funny things is, and this kind of carries over from Battle of Gods, why they're little, because that's kind of where we get that introduction. But you actually, and this is, sorry, just kind of going off topic real fast, is that a while ago you mentioned that you were hoping that Beerus would make it to Dragon Ball Super. The first story arc of Super is supposed to be a retelling of Battle of Gods.
Nice, okay.
So they're going to be expanding on a lot more of Beerus and everybody, and that's one of the things that they've already shown in there too.
I'm happy about that, because the Beerus character, I can already tell. Beerus and Whis, I both appreciate.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I also want to mention, just as a personal like, and you guys can hate me for it, but I'm a big Vegeta fan. I've never really been a fan of Goku and DBZ. I know that's weird, right? And I'm just happy that at the very end, I got my fan service moment, and guess who else can become, and I'm going to try and say this in one take, Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, was Vegeta. And Vegeta actually got to have a moment of, kind of like, it's one of the reasons that I love GT, is that GT finally let Vegeta catch up and be a Super Saiyan 4. And so when I saw that moment, I'm like, even in my head, I'm like, it's as if he's saying, at long last, I've ascended. And at the same time, we also got to have some really good bouncing off moments with him and Goku. I especially loved at the very end where it's like, do you think Whis is right? Do you think we gotta be fighting together? Not a chance. Wow, something we agree on.
Though I have to agree with you. I'm personally, my boat is in the Trunks Vegetas. Those are my two favorite characters of Dragon Ball Z. It's always been those two. So the fact that we got a kind of ruthless, merciless Vegeta moment again,
Yes.
for me was fantastic. The whole, Goku's too arrogant and too proud and too cocky to like be merciless. He's like, I'm not, and I was just like, yeah. For
And
me,
here's the thing, too. He was even wrong.
yeah,
Because he should have just done it, and then Frieza got to destroy the world.
Mm-hmm.
So even then, he was not right. I also love the fact that Whis, because you brought this up, that was Whis' problem with Goku, and then Whis' problem with Vegeta was that he was way too serious about things. And so they both had features to themselves that kind of, again, opposites attract with him and Goku. Is that he was not as laid back as Goku, but Goku also had his issues. And that's why they couldn't move forward in their training. So I appreciated that little part. I will say that the whole concept of Frieza destroying the planet, I was screaming at both Goku and Vegeta. I was like, kill him! He has access to the ground! He's destroyed a planet before!
Yeah, and this goes into the issue I have with, and it's something I mentioned in my review, Popper, that there were some moments where they could have had some good character moments. Like, for example, after Frieza destroys the planet and basically Whis tells him, it's like, I can send you back, but you have to kill him straight away. You cannot be merciful.
Yes.
That would have been a really good moment, because it would have shown, if they at least had addressed it, the fact that it's basically asking Goku to do something that Goku would not have normally done, of him being made to and this is why I like Battle of the Gods better, because with Battle of the Gods, you got moments of Vegeta and Goku having to do something that neither of them actually wanted to do.
Yes.
And having the whole, like, oh, you have to be... And it would have worked better as if they, instead of the whole 3 minutes direct just that scene, if Whis was able to bring him back to the start of the fight and basically just straight up say, I can bring him back to the start, but you can't be merciful. You have to kill him. Then that would have allowed for some more drama of Goku effectively having to not toy with him and just having to kill him straight up. That would have been an interesting character moment for Goku.
I actually would expand on that a little bit. I'm a little irritated that Whis brought everybody back. Because it would have been an interesting aspect if only Goku had been brought back. Because he had that jerk moment with Vegeta because Vegeta was not in the bubble, but Bulma knew, and so at that point it would have been interesting to have them all kind of look at Goku in that way, just like, why did you do that, Goku? That's so out of character for you. And Whis just kind of has to tell him, you have to live with that decision.
Yeah, but then you would have had to like dedicate 15 more minutes of character study, and Toriyama just did not want to do that.
Yeah, he probably didn't.
Yeah, that's true, but that was kind of one of my issues with it. As I mean, you either could have had a Goku being made to do something he didn't normally want to do, or it could have been a case where Vegeta also could have. I mean, how I would have had it is I wouldn't have had it be where they reset and Goku saves the day again. I probably would have had it where Vegeta finally gets his revenge on Frieza, and he's the one who finally destroys him once and for all with the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan powers, because then that would have been a full circle thing of Vegeta.
That would have made more sense.
Yeah,
because I mean, how many times did it get brought up in the Frieza saga, the racism that Frieza kind of represents? How he would always call Vegeta that stupid, silly monkey, and he gets the final shot.
I agree entirely with Romney. What I would have loved to have seen would have been them taking him back to the beginning of the fight and Goku and Vegeta have to work together, so Vegeta has to relax and work with Goku, and Goku essentially has to be the one that tells Vegeta, all right, go ahead and finish him off, and the Vegeta gets his sweet revenge, and the whole movie's over. And the thing that would have been, I think, funny about it or cool about it would have been that we just spent 40 minutes in this Goku Vegeta Frieza fight. We rewind back, and it takes 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. Because then at that point, we don't have to go through every event because we know how it's going to end.
But it's also an emphasis on how much stronger they would be if they worked together. As that was constantly, that was brought up a few times. It'd be like, this fight that took them 40 minutes individually took them 5 minutes together.
Exactly. And the other thing, too, is, and I actually got worried in this film because of the whole emphasis on working together, that I was going to get another fusion. And I don't want a fusion. I want them as individuals.
You don't want Gogeta?
I love the whole concept of Gogeta and Vegito, but they both are such unique characters that I just want them separate because their fused counterparts are kind of dinky in my opinion.
I love their fused counterparts.
I love Vegito. I'm not on board with Gogeta. So,
but Gogeta was so beautifully cocky.
But yeah, so was Vegeta, because he was more Vegeta than anything. So,
Anyways.
Okay, wrapping things up. So, final thoughts on Resurrection F. I will just go ahead and go first. So, I like this film, and it does get me excited for Super Dragon Ball Z, but I'm kind of in the camp that Battle of the Gods was better because of the fact that this was not necessarily... Okay, I might be going a little too deep into this, but one of the reasons I love Battle of the Gods was because of the reasons you stated, Romney, where it was a character study for both Vegeta and for Goku, because, Goku is in the Super Saiyan God, and he's not happy about it, because this is a power that he couldn't attain on his own. And I also love the fact that Vegeta has to degrade himself, like he's seen his father do, to make sure that Beerus does not destroy the world. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was great, but I also, one of the greatest moments is seeing Vegeta care for Bulma doesn't happen all that much. And so the fact that Beerus slaps her, I literally thought Vegeta was just going to sit there and go,
You had it coming, woman.
Yeah, basically, you're on your own. And all of a sudden, he is hulking out and just ripping Beerus a new one. He doesn't even care if he's dead at this point. He doesn't care that the world's going to be destroyed. I'm just like, oh my gosh, he actually does care for Bulma. Yeah. I now know this. Because aside from GT, I haven't seen those moments.
You'll get some of them in Super once you start watching it.
Good, I'm very excited about that. But overall, I would say Resurrection F is a good movie, and it did a lot of things that I wanted. I still like Battle of the Gods better. So Romney, final thoughts on Resurrection F.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same case where between the two, Battle of Gods is better, and just my main problem is that it just feels rushed. I mean, the animation looked rushed, especially with the transparent use of 3D CG cel-shaded models to fill in for the gaps that they didn't think we would notice, even though they were making it for the big screen. And just the story was just a bit lackluster, and I just wish, I mean, with the idea of bringing back Frieza, it could have used a little bit more build-up. And I mean, yeah, they do allude to like what will happen, but the way it just all wraps up is just kind of lackluster.
Mm-hmm. I would kind of agree with that. The whole thing with Frieza was really rushed.
I actually have to say that Frieza didn't even feel as menacing this time around because we didn't... The thing that made him so menacing in the series was the fact that he straight up cold-blooded murdered characters.
Yes.
And in here, all he does is blow up an island. And I mean, and it's not...
He murders a minion, but that's it.
Well, yeah, he blows up the city and kills a minion, but that's about it.
Exactly, like the island, it's a whole bunch of characters that don't really matter to us because we don't even have a single face to any of those characters. He kills a minion, which, okay, that's fine for us because, whatever, they're minions.
Stereotypical villain.
Yeah, but we don't... Frieza never really becomes a menacing force.
No, definitely not compared to, like, the Frieza saga. Mm-hmm. I mean, he is... I really do believe that the Frieza from the Frieza saga and the Frieza from this one... Frieza Saga 1 would just outright murder him because of character assassination.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Yeah.
So, overall, Aldo, so final thoughts on Resurrection F.
Kind of in the same boat. I think, and my personal feel is that Battle of the Gods felt like an honest attempt to expand the universe and reboot the series, while Resurrection F just kind of felt like a fan service movie.
It really did.
Yeah.
Just finally, like for me, one of the biggest moments was Vegeta finally catching up. That's a fan service thing.
Though I do have to say, as many complaints as I have about it, and we've talked about those extensively,
Yeah.
I feel like I had to reiterate, I had fun. I enjoyed myself in this movie,
Yes.
regardless of the complaints I have. I enjoyed myself.
No,
Same
the dialogue alone. The dialogue alone did it. Especially, because we brought up all of the Goku Vegeta moments. Frieza had a good moment where he got to describe his hell, and
Yes.
I love all the looks on everybody's like, that doesn't sound like hell.
I also, and I brought this up to Rami once again, coming out of the movie.
Sure.
It felt like they took a cue from Team 4-Star in some of their comedy.
Mhm.
Especially like how almost like self-referential it became with the whole, for simplicity's sake, let's call this Golden Frieza.
Yeah.
To me, felt like a line out of a Dragon Ball Z abridged episode.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I also love the whole. I also would take a nod to like DBZ Abridged for the whole holding hands moment, because I believe DBZ Abridged has made this joke a couple times, the bromance between Goku and Vegeta, and that was perfect.
Either Toriyama's been watching Dragon Ball Z abridged, or whoever's in charge of localization and translating.
I know Funimation is aware of Team 4-Star's existence,
Oh, yeah.
and
Yes.
although they won't explicitly state it, there have been times where certain voice actors have done minor roles in Team 4-Star shorts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, they've also had, I think the voice of Team 4-Star's Nappa is also a voice in Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse.
I would
He
be
also
surprised by that.
he also voices one of the creative characters in.
Well, I know
Dragon
one of the
Ball.
team. I know at least one of the Team 4-Star people is based in Texas, and
Yeah.
that's where Funimation is.
Yeah.
So, and I know that Team 4-Star. I think they've actually gotten interviews with Funimation developers. So
Yeah, and there's actually some anime that they've been hired to officially dub as well. I think
Yeah.
it's like the something of Oda Nobuna. I think it's like the series that that a good chunk of them have been actually hired on as actual voice actors for.
Which. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, I honestly I can't remember the name of the show. I just know that the end of the title is Oda Nobuna, and that's it.
yeah.
Okay. I hope it's
So-
not Nobunaga Gun. I hope it's not that one.
No, it's not that. It's like
Well,
the
you should have
something
short.
some. It's like the something of Oda Nobuna. That's all I know. Because they mentioned that in one of their news things is that hey, we are actually going to be dubbed in like voice acting in an actual professional dub that Funimation is releasing.
I think it'd be great for them to dub new characters for Dragon Ball Super. I think that would be completely full circle. That'd be great.
A great idea. Great idea.
Anyways,
Even just minor villains. So, Alex, are you there? Are you good? I'm sure you just heard nothing but Goku and Vegeta, and you were done.
blah
Just
blah
checked out.
blah. King of Saiyans. Blah blah blah. Honor.
Get
Blah blah blah.
the boys in spandex, are we?
If any of you understood what I just said, that was a Team 4-Star reference.
Yes. So, unfortunately, we have come yet again to the end of another episode of Geek News Reviews and Opinions. But we went a little late. We went a little later just because of the Resurrection Act for review. So, if you guys get the option for it, if you guys can see the movie, I think if you're a hardcore Dragon Ball Z fan, go see it because you're going to get a fun ride regardless. But for the people who are going to want to pay the Blu-ray or whatever, again, if you're a hardcore fan, I think you'll be good.
It's it's better if you go into it and when you come out, you don't think about it.
Don't yeah.
Don't think about
That's
it
one
too
of the
much.
things That's one of the things I love about Battle of the Gods. You don't have to think about it at the end. So, in the meantime, though, if people have various opinions on the show, so like we're going to get into these because I love doing this. Aldo, if people have a problem with the fact that you love Team 4-Star over the new Dragon Ball Z movies, even though you're completely saying that you like them both, and they also want to have the X-Men crossover into Super Dragon Ball Z, how do they get a hold of you?
Damn it. You can get a hold of me at Twitter at Aldo531, where today I tweeted about the Honda dealer guy that was at Salt Lake Gaming Convention. You can find me there. You can also find my work at Utah Geek Magazine. You can also find it at Anime Overdub ES. You can find it at Reviews versus the World, and you can find it obviously on here with Geek News Reviews and Opinions.
All right. Alex, if Change.org wants to do a brand spanking new petition on the fact that busty women in anime happen and they shouldn't, and it's because it's an entirely intercontinental divide, and then Konami actually gets into it and decides to create an erotic violence pachinko game based off this petition, how do they get a hold of you?
I don't know what any of that has to do with me, but you can find me here on YouTube.com.
Oh, I'm sorry, body pillow. Now it concerns you.
You can find me here on YouTube. Channel Laser 3000 is my name, and reviewing anime is my game. And occasionally I even play games. Who thought it'd thunk it? So yes, I got a few new videos up this week. You can go see on my channel. You can also find me on Twitter. Alex J. Short is my handle. You can find me on Facebook. Alex Short. Look once again. Find me, talk to me, stalk me. Don't talk to me in real life, people. That's creepy. You can stalk me.
Senpai will finally notice you.
Sorry. Find me, stalk me, it's okay. Shadow Blazer 3000, 2015. I want that quote somewhere. Stephen Romney. If somebody wants to get a hold of you because they want to actually do a swatting of you, except it's Deadpool that's coming to take you out, and the fact that you also are disliking every stinking Kickstarter that they have ever loved, except for the rare stuff that they just don't understand at all because it's so freaking artsy, how do they get a hold of you?
Not quite on your A game, Adam. I'm sorry. I have to take some marks
There's
down.
so much rage on this episode, I can't do it!
No, I think it's just you used most of it on Aldo and Alex, so...
Yeah.
I think he used most of it on Alex, because mine was kind of like a B-, C+.
Yeah.
It's not my best.
Yeah. All right. Grab your stopwatches, everybody. You can also find me on youtube.com/StudioPhantasmo. That's Phantasmo with an F. You can also find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Romney'sReviews. No apostrophe. You can also find me on MoviePilot at moviepilot.com/ROMNE. And I am now on Twitter at Romney's Reviews. And if you tune into my channel, you can find my reviews for The Man from U.N.C.L.E., Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F, and Ricky and the Flash.
Awesome. As usual, Romney. There actually was one story that I think would have worked a little bit better, but it barely made the cut tonight, and that was somebody actually submitted this to me, a local, I think it was San Jose school district, or San Jose art troupe was going to do a live opera of a biopic of Steve Jobs.
For the love of
Do you
God.
see why it made the cutting room floor?
Are we there yet? Really? Is that
There have been a lot of bad operas. Like, again, I've seen parts of the Mario opera, and it is just horrid.
Mario?
I've heard that existed. I've heard that
Remember,
existed.
Spider-Man, turn off the lights. Or turn on the dark, or whatever the name was.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. Still
So
just...
if people have not appreciated the sheer amount of rage that I have spewed, the soapboxes that I have stepped on this episode, you can get a hold of me directly at my YouTube channel, which is Drac2326. I do read the comments, and then I also do, that is where Geek News is hosted. And again, to the people who wanted some Gamescom coverage, especially World of Warcraft, videos coming after this. I will upload it, I promise. So the other thing, too, is if you guys want to get a hold of me on Twitter, you can do that at the exact same handle on Twitter, Drac2326. And you can tell me how much my hatred for Konami is never satiated, and the fact that Hideo Kojima will one day own them. If people want to get a hold of the show directly, you have 3 ways to do it. You have, well, first of all, obviously the playlist, which is everything that we've ever done, including some Gaming with Geeks. I actually have been working on those videos, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which was the next one, is getting ready to come up. So that will go up next. But if you guys want to get a hold of the show directly, first of all, you can leave your stories and your feedback at geekyweek@gmail.com, where we do listen to the feedback, even if it is hateful. And even though if you guys didn't read the notes that I put in the description for the previous episode, go watch it and don't leave a comment until you finish it.
So we accept the feedback even if it's wrapped up in Jesus.
Oh,
He said it, not me. He said it.
Bring it!
Bring it! Second way to get a hold of people, or to get a hold of the show, is GeekyNRO. That is our Twitter handle. You can get up-to-the-minute information when we're going live, when we're going to be discussing stories. I also do try and link the videos that we do for our various other projects. So, like with articles from Aldo on, what is it, Utah Geek Weekly?
Magazine, not weekly.
Magazine? Okay. So, yeah, I will link the stories there. I'll link up Romney's reviews. And now I'm going to link up this Let's Play that the Shadow Blazer is doing without me. And also, the third way to get a hold of us is to go to Facebook, look up Geek News, Reviews, and Opinions, and like it. And you'll get up-to-the-minute information when we're going live. We may get your feedback on some of the stories, because I've done that, especially with E3. And even more than that is coming, so you guys have more to look forward to. And just in case people didn't know this already, me and Alex also have another channel, which is Drac and Shadow. We do Let's Plays there. This is why mainly Alex has not really done them. And because he's doing a Let's Play, he's getting this plug. So, F you, Shadow Blazer, right now. I'm kidding.
Somebody's salty.
But we also I am very salty tonight. But we also have a lot of other collaborations. I know that Alex and Aldo have been hinting at a collaboration on a specific anime. And so we've got plenty more things coming along the way. But that is going to do it for this week. When we get back, we will be back with even more geek news, reviews, and opinions. So for me, for Romney, for Aldo, and for Alex, we'll see you next time.
good night, everyone.
Dig it!
I'm getting back on my soapbox right now. Get on me!